All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of Jon and Jim. It'll be a bit of a wrap-up show as the Padres series in Toronto is over. Thankfully, they will not win a game in Canada this year. They are swept despite Gavin Sheets having a multi-homer game, and our long nightmare continues. 6 consecutive losses. It's gotten so bad that later on today, I'm going to eat a piece of chicken on air because this team didn't score yesterday. And I said if they didn't score yesterday, I would eat a piece of chicken on air. And I'm pissed off because I haven't had a piece of chicken in 11 years. So that's where we start. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. Just an excruciating loss today, battling, but losing in 11, 7-6 to the Blue Jays. A 6th straight loss, Jim.
Yeah, it's the longest losing streak under Shildt.
Since June of 2023.
So they have never lost more than 5 in a row while Mike Shildt has been their manager, as he said postgame. We'll hear that coming up here in a bit. It's uncharted territory for this team.
Right.
What I will agree with him, and again, you'll hear him coming up in a bit, is at least today was much better than the previous 5 games.
I do believe in you're better off getting out of it playing like this than the way you were playing.
That's kind of where I was going with it. But
I'm not a big hey, we tried really hard and got closer guy.
No. You know me too.
You know? That's not my style.
I am not a hey, it was a moral victory.
Win.
No way in hell will I ever be on the side of a moral victory.
Right.
But at least it didn't look anything comparable to the previous 5 games.
Yeah, but you're facing, and you're right. And I know we're going to go in here.
Yeah.
But we said yesterday, and I agreed with you, you're like, they better beat up on this dude who's on the mound today for Toronto, who had allowed 14 home runs.
And you thought that was going to happen
in the major leagues. Gavin Sheets hits the early home run. But we can spin this like, hey, they scored 6 runs. Well, 2 of them came in extras. Well, they had 8 hits in 11 innings. They came through with men in scoring position, not until like the 9th or 10th inning. I mean, some of it was more of the same. Some of it is improvement. I'm with you. Jackson Merrill, a couple of hits here today. Gavin Sheets, how could you lose a game with 5 RBIs?
The Gavin Sheets game.
From Gavin Sheets.
Wasted.
But here is the issue, and I'm with you. I think they're closer today than they were yesterday. I mean, they lost by 14. But Fernando Tatis Jr. is a shell of himself. Manny Machado is a shell of himself. Tatis and Machado did absolutely nothing. And once again, you lose a game. How much of an indicator does that remain? Machado doesn't show up, you're going to lose. And that's once again the story here tonight for the Padres.
0 for 9 today, collectively?
Those 2, yeah.
How many opportunities did they have with I can't even remember.
Yeah, neither do I. They had chances.
Oh, they had chances, all right. They were. They finally got a hit with runners in scoring position, John.
Luis Ariz in the 10th.
Took them extra innings to do it.
With 2 outs?
Yep, and Gavin Sheets in the 11th.
Correct.
But before that, they were 0 for 7, and they got to 0 for 39 consecutively without having a hit. Was? 0 for 39 before they broke it. Before they got a hit with runners in scoring position.
Dude, that was pushing major league record. The Cubs did something like that years ago, and it was like 40 ABs. That's how bad it was for the Padres with men in scoring position.
And we talked about it all yesterday, and especially last night on the wrap-up show. Someone's going to have to step up and put their foot down and just be like, all right, we're not losing this game. And I thought that was going to be Gavin Sheets today. I really did. This was I was ready to come on here on the radio and talk about, Gavin Sheets is the guy that said enough's enough. Thank God for Gavin Sheets. And now they can put the 5-game losing streak behind them. Still a very tough series coming up in Atlanta. We haven't even mentioned that, by the way. But at least somebody on the team in the lineup said enough's enough. And I thought it was going to be Gavin Sheets, and you wasted that brilliant game by him with 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, both of them 2-run shots, and the game-tying 2-run home run in the 9th inning. Just completely wasted his outing.
One of the themes of this current awful stretch where they're 13-18 in their last 31 is wasting brilliance. There was a Jackson Merrill game at Yankee Stadium that they wasted. There is Gavin Sheets here today. How can you homer off their closer in the 9th and not find a way to win that game? They homered in the 9th. They went ahead in the 10th. They went ahead in the 11th. And it's harder in the 10th and the 11th inning with the runner at second and nobody on. I understand that. But we're not asking for the world. Someone just get you out of that spot. Just close the door. And if it's the offense, it's the offense. If it's the pitching, it's the pitching. Stephen Kolek today just speaks to the importance of Yu Darvish, I think, returning. But to your point, a year ago, we never saw this. They had 4 or 5 game losing streaks.
Also a lot.
It was murky. They were on the rope, so to speak. They were under 500 in June as a team. They bounced back. Season's clearly not on the line. It wasn't a must win. It won't be tomorrow in Atlanta either.
It felt like a game 7, though.
But now it does begin to feel a little bit like, what is it going to take to get this team out of it? Because you're going to need to get out of it sooner rather than later. You can't lose 9-10 consecutive games. Like, that changes everything, the psyche of a team, to lose 9 or 10 consecutive games. Atlanta's rotation coming up, what they're going to throw at San Diego is as good as it gets, including Chris Sale tomorrow for the Braves. They've been unbelievable at home. It doesn't get any easier from here, Jim. It really does not. Atlanta and then June with that schedule coming up for the Padres.
I mean, yeah, the Padres will be facing Chris Sale, the Cy Young Award winner from last year, and Schwellenbach on Sunday. But you know what? Bring him on.
Other than that,
Miss Lincoln, how is the freaking play today? The 5-game losing streak and how inept they looked made today seem that much worse when they ended up losing.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you have to look here, is that this team put themselves in this position today where it didn't matter how you played. It didn't matter, like, from a fan's perspective, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, they played a pretty decent game all in all. I mean, there's some clutch hits. Gavin Sheets had a big game. They had some decent moments today, and then some really high moments where you're like, oh, this is amazing. But when you lose the game, it feels worse because they've already lost 5 in a row coming into today, and now it's at 6. And so while they did put together a much better performance today than they did in their previous 5 games, their previous 5 games just made today that much worse.
I would agree with that. And it also illustrates this point that's so easy to illustrate. Catching is an issue offensively. They go 0 for 5. Left field is an issue offensively. They go 0 for. Xander doesn't start. He comes off the bench with a man in scoring position, doesn't come through. Like, the easiest things in the world to highlight and point out. All I'm asking them to do, you as well, go prove us wrong.
Win a game.
Go prove us wrong. Hey, Elias Diaz, come through. And again, it's not on Elias Diaz. Hey, Brandon Lockridge, come through. Jason Hayward, come through. Xander Bogaerts, come through. Someone come through. Gavin Sheets tried. He can't pitch. So it's just extremely frustrating. And it's hard to imagine that this is the same team that hit with men in scoring position and came through with runners at third and less than 2 outs and started 14-3. They look nothing like that team. Someone go find that team for me and send them to Atlanta.
Tatis 0 for 4. Manny 0 for 5. Jake, who is slumping, 0 for 3. Elias Diaz, you just mentioned, 0 for 5. Brandon Lockridge, Jason Hayward, Xander Bogaerts combined 0 for 4.
Right in that spot.
Jose Iglesias 1 for 4. You know, without Gavin Sheets and Jackson Merrill today, it's like no shot.
Gavin Sheets, you're getting shut out in this game.
Yeah,
you're not in extra innings.
You're getting shut out, and it's another game where you don't score any runs. And now we're really destroying and killing this team on the radio today.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it wasn't that. If there's any silver lining, for me, it's so black and white when a team isn't playing well, or when a team is playing well. When they were 14-3, that's the issue with baseball. You know, when you start 14-3, that's the expectation.
Right.
When you lose 6 straight, people are like, sell everything, right? GM's got to go. What's the deal with Shildt?
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
So, it does settle in somewhere in there. There's still 6 games over 500, but you allow this thing to turn into losing 9 of 10, 10 of 11, 11 of 12, Jim, you're going to be looking up at that division. There's good teams in this division. And if this continues for another week, you could be looking up all year long in this division.
You could, but it is also May. It's not August. Yep. It's not September. The team was 50-50 last year, and they finished with 93 wins.
They did.
I really don't want to continue to go back to last year and mention that. Right. I really wouldn't, because it's not easy to replicate what they did in the second half in back-to-back years. I think that's something that people aren't really understanding, is just how good they were in the second half of last season.
Amazing.
Like, historically good that you can't replicate every single year.
98 didn't have a 43-19 stretch in it.
Right.
So they've never, for 62 games, ever had a higher winning percentage ever in any season at any point, anywhere in there.
And with that 43-19 stretch, I'm going to say they only won 93 games, and they finished, what, 4 or 5 games out of the division?
5, because the Dodgers won 98, which was obviously an off year for them.
Yeah, so
winning more.
You had last year to have a historic 2.5 month stretch to get in, to win 93 games. And this year, with their 14-3 mark, you're thinking to yourself, all right, they're not going to have that historic, or at least the pressure of the historic stretch again to get back to that mark. Like, they're going to play decent baseball, and they're going to have a nice gap throughout the rest of the season, and then they can get hot again and have another stretch where they win maybe 6 in a row, and you couple that with your 14-3 start, and you just play, a couple games over 500 the rest of the way, then you are sitting pretty. But if you give it all the way back here, by the time June starts, we're right back to square one, just like last year, where now you're banking and hoping that they can put together another historical streak.
We're going to hear from Mike Shildt on the other side. Do not go anywhere. I'll also eat a piece of chicken, because I was the idiot that said if they get shut out yesterday facing whoever they were facing, who had been awful against the Padres lineup and shut them out, Kevin Gausman, I said I would eat a piece of chicken if that happened. So I will. I probably will. We also have SDFC tickets to give away. I'll be listening for that goal sounder when you hear it. Call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC against Austin on May 31st. But we're going to hear on the other side from Mike Shildt. We're going to eat chicken. The Padres have lost 6 straight, their longest losing streak since 2023, that miserable year. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, be listening for that goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760. We're going to qualify a listener to win SDFC tickets coming up. This hour, we'll announce the winner at 5:30. Padres have lost 6 straight. They fall to the Blue Jays in extras, 7-6. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. I'll eat the chicken at some point this hour. But I do want to hear from Mike Shildt because it's more pressing than the chicken. The reason I'm having chicken is because I said yesterday if they lose and they get shut out, I'm going to have a chicken strip. I have not eaten meat basically in 11 plus years. I did lose a bet at some point. I had a bite of In-N-Out with Rich Ornberger at one point, and it was really good.
And me.
You were there?
I filmed you.
I don't remember that. I probably blacked out.
I don't know why you. I think I have it on our Instagram page.
Do you?
Yeah. At Jon and Jim. Follow us on Instagram. You were in the performance studio. I was filming you.
I kind of remember.
And you ate it, and you said, "This is the greatest thing I've ever ate in my life."
Right, but then I didn't feel great afterwards because I hadn't eaten meat in a decade.
Right.
So I got Dave's Hot Chicken because if you're going to get chicken, you're going to get Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's unbelievable.
We love Dave's Hot Chicken.
Even though I haven't eaten Dave's Hot Chicken, but I'm excited to try it. If I have to have chicken, I'm eating Dave's Hot Chicken.
I mean, after what me and you have done the last 2 days to try to get this team out of its funk, maybe the final step is you eating meat.
I truly put a Jackson Merrill trading card in salt last night because I was told by ChatGPT to do it. He did have 2 hits.
He did. But maybe
2 singles.
But the team still lost.
What do you want me to do? Put the team in salt?
Maybe.
Just put the entire team.
Just print out a picture of the team and put them in a bowl of salt.
I might have to do it.
I don't know why that would do anything, but
we might have to do it. All right. Yeah. Mike Shildt spoke to the media, a.k.a. Kevin AC, after the Padres lost at 11. Their 6th straight loss. Shildt starts by talking about today's defeat.
Obviously didn't go great either way. The battle's a key word today. Fought our tails off. Got a little back to playing our kind of game. A lot of, able to get some big hits. Louis Sheets late. Sheets big day, obviously. A big homer, big couple homers, 5 RBIs. Good at bats against a couple tough lefties from those guys. Cola gave us a chance. Yuki, Sean, Jason kept him right there. Extra innings, obviously, guys starts at second. We were able to, get it done twice and just couldn't get it shut down.
What are you seeing out of Kolek? Like when he's in the zone, it's great. Today he left a few in the middle probably, but like you said, he gave you a chance. Battled the 6 innings.
Battled through 6. Not an extra base hit, a couple self-inflicted walks. But, like you said, a couple balls over the plate, but he was around the plate all day, throwing strikes and, for the most part. And like I said, at 4, gave us a chance. Bullpen gave us a chance and, just couldn't quite bring it home.
I don't want to like a loss is a loss.
Yeah, that's right.
But this is 6 straight.
It is.
And you haven't done that before.
That's right.
I guess it'd be different if you hadn't battled today. You're probably going to say that this is how you get out of it, is playing like this, having at bats like this. But like, how does this team, which was so good for 5 or 6, 7 weeks, get back to that?
Yeah, uncharted territory. I mean, nobody really here's experienced that. And, I do believe I thought about the last couple, days. And then, of course, today I felt good about us winning the game. But, as you reflect back on where we're at, first of all, to your point, listen, today is exactly how you get out of it. That's just how this works. You play our game. And today, we played some good defense. Toddy, a good play, multiple good defensive plays, one cost us, but tough at bats. Guys had, aggressive throwing strikes in the zone. They got hits. We didn't really, not a lot was self-inflicted. But that's how that happens. And what I was getting back to is, I really am confident that this is going to only make us stronger. There is no question about that. It will make us stronger. It doesn't feel great right now. Very soon it'll be a distant memory as we continue to get back to playing on the good side of the left-hand side of the win column. And, listen, it's just going to make us stronger and it'll make us closer.
I mean, I feel for both Shildt and Kevin because, like, what are they going to say to each other. It was like a battle off. They both used the word battle multiple times. Like, who can say battle more?
Battle.
And we'll connect with Kevin tomorrow from Atlanta. But the one thing, and I get it, Shildt asked by the media questions before games and after games every day for like 200 straight days. You're not going to be perfect in what you say.
Right.
But when he's like, we really played some good defense today. Well, no, you actually, the reason you lost the game, as good as Sheets was, he committed an awful error, Jim, that cost them 2 runs early in the game. Now, to his credit, he had a ridiculous offensive game, tried to win it back, but Sheets commits an error that if a first baseman is able to glove, it's a double play, the inning's over, and 2 runs would score in the inning. So they're going through it everywhere. 4 errors yesterday, 6 in their last 4 games, 6-game losing streak. When it rains, it pours.
Well, maybe because Gavin Sheets is not good defensively.
But the problem is, and I'm with you, they're getting cute. They can't DH him every day.
I know. And today they took Bogarts out of the lineup and they DH'd Luis Ariz.
That's the thing. It's like when you don't have, and Ariz isn't a great defender either. He's better than Gavin Sheets, obviously. But because Sheets' bat is so valuable, you're like, get him in the lineup. I get it. But that means he's got to be in the field sometimes. And that hasn't worked out. He had a misplay in left the other day. He had a misplay at first today. It's putting a puzzle together improperly. That's the issue right now with the Padres. There's some good in there. There's some bad in there. And you can't put this 50-piece puzzle together.
Gavin Sheets is like the perfect DH.
Perfect.
He is just put him in the DH spot.
Do you agree he's got to play left, right? Who cares right now? Because
Gavin?
he can't. Yeah, he's got to play against lefties and righties. Who cares?
I don't care.
Because they haven't done that all year.
Right. Just play the hot hand. He's obviously the hottest person on the team right now after his 5 RBI day and 2 home runs. I mean, when's the last time that happened? When's the last time a Padres star player, like one of their big names, had that type of game?
2 homers or more, 5 RBIs or more?
Yeah,
it's been a while. And when's the last time a Padre had 2 home runs or more, 5 RBIs or more in a loss? I don't know, but that's not easy to do.
I don't even care about the 5 RBIs. When's the last time a Padres superstar player that's getting paid a lot of money just had a 2 home run game?
Can someone look that up for us? And text us 70470. Start it with the word team.
Like the only person I can think that might have done it is Tatis this year because he leads the team in home runs, but I don't think so.
I don't think there's been no multi-home run game until today, I want to say.
Definitely not Manny. No,
you have to have 2 home runs in a season to have a multi-home run game.
Right. Definitely not Xander. No on Jackson Merrill.
I mean, Toddy last year against the Cubs, you're going way back to start their season.
Yeah, the last thing you want to hear is a Padres manager after a long losing streak say the word battled. It is a PTSD word. It just brings you back. You're like, whoa, like you get hives and you break out when you hear the word battled by a manager of the Padres.
And you know who's licking their chops right now? And it's not me about to eat this chicken because I haven't eaten meat in 10 years.
Oh, I know.
You know.
The Atlanta Braves.
Do you think they remember getting swept in a 4-game series 6 weeks ago?
Probably.
Big 3-game set coming up for the Padres in Atlanta. All right, I'll eat some chicken. I'll pay off this bet. We'll continue to react. We'd love to hear from you, by the way. Phone lines are open, 877-767-4760. Where do they go from here, other than Atlanta, Georgia? Plus, be listening for that goal sounder. We're giving away SDFC tickets today when you hear the sounder. Call 877-767-4760. It's Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Go! Anders Dreyer was dancing. He's a goal machine.
This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres have now lost 6 in a row after they lost again to the Blue Jays, this time in 11 innings, 7-6. Gavin Sheets tried his hardest. He had 2 homers and 5 RBIs in the loss. Next up, they take on the Atlanta Braves starting tomorrow night for a 3-game series in Atlanta. Their consolation prize after losing today, John, is Chris Sale tomorrow night. And tonight is game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in OKC. Thunder and T-Wolves. The Thunder lead the series 1-0. Tip-off is at 5:30 p.m. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, you can hear us on the iHeartRadio app. Put us in your presets, both San Diego Sports 760 and Jon and Jim. Never miss an hour or an interview. We're reacting to a Padres heartbreaker in Toronto, a couple of late leads they couldn't hold. They have lost 6 consecutive games. They're heading for Atlanta, where, as Jim just said, Chris Sale will await. The Padres have not lost 6 straight, as we said about 30 minutes ago, since June of 2023. Remember, in 2023, at one point, they were somewhere around 15-plus games under 500 before they dug themselves out of that in September and finished the year 82-80. So I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't, because you would have thought it's easier against Seattle and Toronto. I mean, Toronto hadn't shut out anyone all year, and they shut out the Padres twice. They were under 500 heading into the series, Toronto, overall.
I know. Now they're bad. 1 game over?
1 game over.
Yeah.
So you would like to think that Seattle at home and Toronto on the road present more opportunities than at Atlanta against a Braves team that's surging since their 0-7 start. But they're going to have to do it the hard way now, because it's not going to, like, I'm almost putting this a little bit like, I don't know if I can put it like this, Jim. Tell me if this is going too far.
Must win.
No, it's reminding me of the Philadelphia series last June, where you feel like at some point you need to get out of a funk. Now, that was a little later, and they were worse off. They were under 500. It was the middle of June. They lost the first 2 games in Philadelphia. They beat Ranger Suarez, and that kind of propelled their season. But I just feel like at some point in Atlanta, you can't just go quietly all 3 games in Atlanta, can you? I think you have to win.
Don't say that, because they might be like, here, John, hold my beer. Of course we can.
Well, I mean, listen, we're going to talk about this for 4 hours. So if there's one thing we know, we can jinx the Padres.
We've jinxed the hell out of them.
In fact, JD's third, who was with us last night on the wrap-up show, has repeated what he said last night. He said, my idea was withhold food and drink from the team until they win.
Yeah, just starve them.
I don't know if you can do that.
Starve the players. The only players that get to eat are the ones that either get a hit.
Gavin's just sitting there, man, with Dave's hot chicken.
He's eating like some like nice prime ribs. Got some like potatoes and some green beeds.
Well,
a couple beers.
Can we do better? Okay, we can't withhold food and drink. What suggestions do we have to get this team out of this? Do better.
Do better. It's not us, John. It's them.
Yeah, you're right.
It's them. They have to, as best as they can, wipe the slate clean. They can't go into the clubhouse tomorrow with a sulky attitude. I don't care who's slumping.
Good point.
Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. Like, you have to go in that clubhouse tomorrow with an attitude of like you are on a 15-game hitting streak. You have to make sure the spirits are up. Somebody has to do something to get the guys to laugh or just get their mind off of things. Like, I know the other night we were like, these guys just need to go out in Toronto and just go party. And then the next time that, like, they just got to go party until the game tomorrow.
Right, because what's going to happen? They're going to lose. Right. They're going to not hit. They should have, you're right, they should have been like club hopping last night. They should have gone from club to club. Toronto's at like a world-class city.
Yeah.
Live a little bit. Right. Enjoy yourself. The quick turnaround. It's baseball. C-ball hit it. Mm-hmm. And they did have a little more success here today. Can we talk about Tatis for a second? Because a week ago, 10 days ago, MVP conversation. Now, can you hit the side of a barn conversation? In his last 15 games, 15, he's hitting .213. In his last 7 games, he's 4 for 28. He's hit .143. So we spent time on Merrill. We've spent time this year on Machado's lack of power. Tatis helped carry this team when it was going well. And Tatis looks like a different player, Jim, from the one that we saw out of the gates over the last few weeks.
They're all going through it. Everybody now officially has gone through a pretty bad slump, right?
I think that's probably true.
Arise started the year 0
Manny had 0 for 15 recently.
Jackson Merrill's had gone through
2 for
big
23.
slump. Tatis is now slumping.
Yep.
So they've all slumped, and everybody will slump over the course of the season. What you just don't want to have happen is multiple guys, and not just like your main guys, your top guys slumping at the same time. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Is all of their top guys are going through slumps together.
Let me ask you this. Remember the Melvin theory? And I didn't disagree with it.
Don't you say his name in San Diego, John.
So stop.
I'm kidding.
Because last time I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but the manager to take them the furthest since 1998 is Bob Melvin, not Mike Shildt.
You would be correct.
But do you remember, and I didn't fault this strategy in 2023 at all, but I understand the conundrum. He didn't sit guys because they needed wins. Manny played. Soto played, right? Toddy played.
You know why he didn't do that, though?
Because they were losing.
Well, yes, but their depth also that year sucked ass.
I agree with that.
Just like this year.
But I am wondering, with the 13 consecutive games and 26 and 27, do you need to sit some of these struggling players? Because what's worse? I mean, what's on the other side of it if a guy gets a day off?
And who is replacing them, John?
Well, you got options in right like Brandon Lockridge. I'm kidding. No, I mean, the point's fair, but if you're going to run people into the ground, correct me if I'm wrong. Toddy's never played more than 141. That was off the. I mean, he basically played every single day.
In the midst of a 6-game losing streak, you're not sitting your top guys. I'm sorry. You can do it on a 6-game winning streak.
It's fair.
Like tomorrow, you could be like, oh, you know what? We just won 6 in a row. Toddy gets a day off.
I'm blaming 619, who says Tatis needs to take a few days off. But I'm watching this play out. It feels like the whole team needs a few days off.
Well, that's a problem because on the schedule, they play in Atlanta and they don't have a day off here until next Thursday.
Right.
And then after that, they play a crazy stretch where they don't have an off day for like 3.5 weeks. So
you're going to have to, what do they say? Like you're going to have to hit your way out of it.
You're going to have to shoot your way out of it.
Yeah.
Just shoot or shoot.
Right.
You know, just you got to hit your way out of this one. And today was better. But as you said, when you actually look at the box score and you break down the game,
it wasn't
like Toddy had a 2-run homer and then Manny had an RBI double and then Jackson Merrill had 2 RBIs and Luis Ariz had an RBI. Like, no, everything came from Gavin Sheets up until like the extra innings with Luis Ariz.
I mean, you made Bowden Francis look better than he's been.
Bowden Francis sucks.
Yeah.
And he, like, for his standards today, shoved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you needed to capitalize against their starter, and when you didn't, and we look up and say, oh, offense came to life. They scored 6 runs. But to your point, 2 of them in extras. Oh, offense came to life, 8 hits. They played 11 innings. Oh, offense came to life. They faced one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball this year.
Oh, offense came to life. If Gavin Sheets was sick today and wasn't in the lineup, they're getting shut out.
Right. So, I mean, it's extremely frustrating is where we are right now. It's not, I wouldn't say it's sky is falling, season on the line. It's just frustrating is what it is, because we've seen this team at, probably their best when they get off to the 14-3 start. I don't think they're going to be better than that at any point this year. So we've seen them at their best, and now we've actually seen them at their worst a month later. Mm-hmm. So we've seen all sides of the Padres. It's not even June.
They will win another game this season.
It's likely.
They will have
a series win.
At least some type of winning streak this season.
2 or more.
They're going to win multiple games they're going to be much better than, at least you hope, much better than what they've been the last 6 days.
Of course.
They didn't all of a sudden turn into the Colorado Rockies, even though they've played like the Colorado Rockies the last 6 games. So from what Shildt says, that I agree with him. They are going to, there's going to be better days ahead. But when you give away, like when you're on the verge of giving away your hot start, you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball. and you are just making it tougher for yourself. And there's been a lot of games this year that, like you said, they've wasted good performances from either pitchers or hitters, and the bullpen isn't that lights out bullpen that it was to start the season.
Correct.
I know the ghost runner is whatever, but still, this goes on the blown save category for Robert Suarez, and it goes into the loss column for Jeremiah Estrada.
And I don't want to start saying about the 2025 Padres that they're Ohtani's the first player in baseball history with the Angels with 7 RBIs and 4 scoreless innings and a 9-5 loss. But like Gavin Sheets, a 5 RBI multi-homer game. And Jackson Merrill's had some of these huge games that they haven't won. Like, I don't want to be talking about huge games that they're losing. You have to win those games because the Padres aren't going to have a lot of multi-home run games this year. When you get them, you better win them. You're going to have like 3 of them all year long. All right, I'm going to eat chicken on the other side. I haven't had chicken.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one.
I haven't had chicken, but the Padres were shut out yesterday. I'm a man of my word. I said if they get shut out yesterday, I'll eat chicken. I don't know why I said it, but I was that confident they weren't getting shut out yesterday. Little did I know that they have now lost 6 consecutive games. We'll do that on the other side. We're giving away SDFC tickets. Be listening for that goal sounder when you hear it. Call 877-767-4760. We're going to qualify listeners all day long. We'll announce the winner of those 2 free tickets for the match May 31st coming up at 5:30. Full reaction. We'd love to hear from you. 877-767-4760. You can text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, San Diego FC back Saturday. They'll take on LA Galaxy, Snapdragon Stadium. You can hear the match live Saturday afternoon, 1:15. Pregame coverage begins right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. All right, enough is enough. Padres lose. Well, relax on recording me yet. I need a second.
Okay.
But Padres lose their 6th straight. Now, yesterday on the air, and I have jinxed this team a lot, to be fair. I'll blame myself a little bit here.
You might have jinxed this team more than I have jinxed this team.
Somehow, because I just don't care because I'm so mad at the way they're playing.
Yesterday, you're like, this team has great numbers off Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman goes out there and just
correct. I'm like, their numbers are so good. There's no world where they're getting shut out.
Look at all these great numbers. This guy's 7 for 10. Manny's hitting 400.
Yeah, in the first game. So they can't get shut out again.
No.
Now, okay, here's the issue. I'm going to eat it with a fork and knife. And you may say, why, John, are you eating? Now, first of all, let's set this up.
On brand.
I haven't had a piece of chicken ever in San Diego. It's been 12 years, let's say. Okay.
Do you like spicy things?
I said, nah, I did when I was a kid, but not now. So I got a mild piece of Dave's hot chicken. And the reason I'm not going to eat it with my hands is like I'm on the air and I can't have my hands be like all greasy right now. Plus, I eat everything with a fork and knife. So you can't really see it on the YouTube, but here it is.
There it is. Ooh, it comes on a piece of toast.
Look at that. It comes on toast. I'm not really going to eat the toast.
Okay.
Maybe I will. But I'm going to eat it.
It's like a historic moment right now.
Historic moment. This is like man walking on the moon.
Cutting his chicken strip
I'm
with a
going to
fork
dip it
and
in
knife.
this sauce.
All
All right. I have not had chicken in 12 years, but they got shut out. I said if they get shut out, I'll have a piece of chicken. Good thing I didn't say something worse. That's very good.
What are you feeling right now?
Happiness.
Is your life changed?
Dude, this is so good. I'm such an idiot. Why do I not eat meat?
Holy
crap.
You are such an
Forget
idiot.
the show. I'm just going to eat. I'm just enjoying this. This is so good.
I enjoy it, man. This is probably a once in a lifetime experience that you'll be having that you won't have for a long time.
I feel bad because I made my son a vegetarian.
Yeah, he's going to hate you in about 10 years when he gets a car and he gets to go to wherever he wants and he ends up going to like McDonald's with his buddies and they're like, "Hey Jones, what do you want?" And he's like, "I'm good." Like, "No, Jones,
Salad.
You have to have a burger." Okay.
Like, what's that?
And he has a Big Mac and he's like,
"Oh,
what?"
Yeah, I know. I feel bad.
Or he goes to Dave's Hot Chicken and he has some chicken strips.
Now, this is Dave's Hot Chicken. This is terrific.
You are pounding that.
It's so good. This is like the best bet I've ever. I want to lose this bet every day.
He's just going to start making ludicrous bets now that he knows he can't win. Just going to be like, "Sorry, honey, I lost the bet. I had to eat chicken again."
Yeah, the Padres don't sweep the Braves.
I'll eat a whole bucket of chicken.
I have to eat meat. I have to eat a filet mignon.
I can't believe how good this is. I can't believe how good food is. That isn't like
I know you don't eat
tofu.
Food or dried like apricots.
This is so good.
Or like raisins. That's what you eat. You eat raisins. You eat dried apricots. You eat like
forget about the
like
losing
random
streak.
salads.
Dude, I have forgotten about the losing streak. All you need to do is eat good food. It's all good.
That is
fine.
100% true. Good food makes you feel better 100% of the time. Like if you are ever mad or grumpy or tired, just have some food and you will instantly feel better.
It's May 21st and the Padres have ruined me. I'm pounding chicken. I haven't had meat in 12 years. I love it. I've got Diet Coke like it's going out of style.
You turned into me. What just happened here?
Oh, this is good.
I know.
Padres aren't.
The Padres aren't as good as Dave's Hot Chicken. Dave's Hot Chicken is elite.
Padres aren't as good.
Padres right now
Not
are
now.
the opposite of elite. They stink.
Now, how am I going to be feeling having not eaten meat
when that
for 12
digests
years?
inside your stomach?
I got to eat the whole thing. I said.
Yeah, you might have a rough rest of the show. I'm just telling you. Like,
well, it's not like we're on the air for another 3 hours and 9 minutes.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's all right.
Man, that's good. The best bet ever.
If you, in the next, I don't know, 10 years, end up giving Jones anything like that,
I'm not going to do it.
It's going to be a problem because that's all he'll want to eat.
I'll just keep lying to him and say like, "Oh, you'll hate it." It is.
Hey, that's a good idea. Lie to Jones until he can figure it out himself.
That's a good idea, right?
That's a
Isn't
great
that what you're
idea.
supposed to do with your children?
Yeah, you protect them by lying to them.
Correct.
You're not being mean. You're just protecting them.
Thank you.
That's how I view it.
Wow, I feel good. feel like I could run 10 feet.
Well, you said
I may
that
have to.
2:52 p.m. on a
Mhm.
Thursday. You feel great. We'll save that, and then at 3:52, we'll ask you how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll still be feeling great, to be honest with you.
619 says, "Hey John, at least you're a man of your word. Unlike Jim when he said he was going to eat a shoe and he didn't."
Did I say that?
Now again, you go harder. You go further with some of your statements. That's why I didn't say like I'll run a marathon.
That's why I've just shut up and not said anything like that, because it's always going to just end up being bad for you. And you don't want to do something where you're like, oh, if the Padres lose tomorrow, I'll won't have a soda. You're like, huh?
Right.
Like
I won't eat or drink until they win again, and then you like die.
Yeah, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
But remember the whole shoe thing, you weren't wrong because Manny hit the home run the following game, not the game you said. And everyone's just like, oh, you lost the bet. It's like, no,
yeah, maybe.
because you made I don't remember what day it was exactly, but it's like you made the bet for a Friday. He hit the home run on a Saturday, and people still tried to say that counted. I remember that.
Same thing with like my Twitter. I was like, I'll delete my Twitter if Manny hits a walk-off here or something along those lines. And he hit a walk-off home run like the next night.
This is hilarious, the chat. By next week, John will be in line at Taco Bell.
For sure.
Steven, John is him. I'm just having a piece of chicken. Like, I'm not Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
I didn't like come through in the most clutch situation in American history.
All of a sudden, John gains like 25 pounds.
I'm just gonna. I don't even care.
Not muscle, but just like 25 pounds of pure
the thing.
fat.
In season now, in Padres season, I just say, who cares? Right? Let's just
who cares?
forget about the FCC let's just.
No, actually, don't forget about the FCC.
Well, we have the dump.
So somebody, I got to bring this up.
Yeah,
because this is funny. So somebody responded to our show page on social media.
Okay,
see if I can find it here. From Manny McNugget said, if the Pods lose this game today, I need Jon and Jim to cook on the Jon and Jim show. I'm talking FCC violations.
Oh, wow.
I need fines.
Yeah,
they need to cook. This is ridiculous.
We're
not losing our jobs over this team.
We can. I mean, we can do that on the wrap up show YouTube channel. It's harder to do.
Right. I'll curse like a sailor on the wrap up show, no doubt about it. But Jon and Jim, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, we also did mention the idea of like if things got really bad. Maybe I think ChatGPT last night we doubled down on like how do we fix this team, and it's like you might want to bury that Jackson Merrill card in the outfield of Petco Park. We're like, well, how do you go about doing that? I mean, I don't think we're
into Petco, dig up the center field grass, stick it in there, and then as soon as we're done, get arrested. Yeah.
But if it saves their season and they go on to win the World Series, it's like you're a hero.
Could you imagine the headline? Local radio show host gets arrested at Petco Park for burying a PSA 10 graded Jackson Merrill rookie card in the outfield.
And then here's the thing. I wouldn't even ask to be bailed out.
Keep me in jail so I don't have to watch this team anymore.
Right. Or we bring the equipment with us. And then like, has anyone ever done a sports talk show from jail?
That would be actually kind of some good content.
Probably some good guests we could have.
Like Larry in the cell next to me.
Yeah. He also thinks this team has been awful.
Right. Larry has some strong opinions.
All right, we're going to continue to react. The Padres have lost 6 straight. I'm going to keep eating chicken.
There's more chicken over here. You bought us all chicken.
No. I know. I bought everyone chicken.
Yeah.
Brent's got chicken. Jim's got chicken. I have chicken. I should have gotten chicken from Marshall. Everyone's getting chicken. Padres have lost 6 straight. We're going to continue to react. If you missed Mike Shildt earlier, we'll bring it back for you at some point. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour as well, we have SDFC tickets to give away. When you hear that goal call on the radio, call 877-767-4760. We're going to qualify listeners all day long. We'll announce the winner of those tickets for May 31st. 2 free tickets coming up at 5:30. But hour 2, don't go anywhere. Full reaction. Padres swept in Toronto on their way for Atlanta. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
right, this update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Padres, they have now lost 6 in a row as they got swept again today by the Toronto Blue Jays, losing 7-6 in 11. They will now travel to Atlanta to take on the Braves tomorrow, starting a 3-game series. And tonight, game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in OKC, Thunder and T-Wolves tip off at 5:30. Thunder have a 1-0 lead there. Don't postpone, better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm Shop Mattress Firm for Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed for a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched at sleepatnight.com.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. We'll continue to qualify listeners for a chance to win SDFC tickets May 31st. When you hear a goal call on the radio, you're going to call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win. We'll announce the winner at 5:30. We're continuing to react to the Padres getting swept in Toronto. They have lost 6 straight. I've paid off the bet. I said I would eat chicken for the first time in 10 years. If they were shut out yesterday, they were shut out. I ate the entire piece of Dave's hot chicken. It was unbelievable. I was pounding that thing at the break.
I'm kind of scared for you.
I am scared for myself.
You feel amazing now.
I feel incredible.
Give it about 30 minutes.
Well, you might be doing the last 2.5.
And I wouldn't be chasing down that chicken strip that you just ate for the first time with Diet Coke. And he's completely
Don't tell me how to have a good time.
Completely ignoring me. Just there we go. That's the Diet Coke right there.
This has been such a enjoyable 15 minutes, despite the fact that
my stomach hurts.
Terrible week for the Padres.
Yeah, as long as you're happy, though, that's all that matters.
I feel good right now. This is a classic example. This goes back to what we said yesterday. Like maybe the Padres, after losing all these games, like go out, live a little. Yeah, it might not be the best thing in the world. Like there's better things to do with your time. Maybe you should watch film. Maybe you should rest up. Maybe you should get off your feet. Or maybe you should just throw caution to the wind and live your life.
Also,
from the vegan.
We have mentioned this before on the show. I don't know if you know this, Sean, that the Padres are human beings. The players on the team, they're human beings, right?
Right.
And Jesse on the broadcast today on TV said that they will not be landing in Atlanta until 5 a.m.
Why?
Because they're in Toronto and they have to go through customs and then they have to fly to Atlanta.
They're in a 12-hour custom route.
Well, that's what he said.
There is no way. Now, there is no way.
You heard of time changes before?
They're not having one. They're in Toronto, which is on Eastern time. They're 2 hours from Atlanta.
What is it right now? It's 6 o'clock Toronto time?
Yeah.
Do you think
they'll
they've
be in
left
Atlanta
yet?
by 10 o'clock tonight?
Well,
want to make another bet?
Well, then Jesse's wrong.
He
then
said
I guess
5 a.m.
That's what he said.
They're in the Eastern time zone. Are they not?
Maybe
Toronto time zone.
Maybe there wasn't a plane that can take off until later tonight.
Well, then they should walk. Yes, they're in the Eastern time zone. How long is a flight? How long is a flight from Toronto to Atlanta? If they can't get there until 5 a.m., then someone in Major League Baseball needs to explain why the Padres can't get there until 5 a.m. It's a 2-hour flight.
Okay.
Do you feel like you misheard that, or did he actually say that?
Maybe I misheard it.
I think he might have said they're going to get there 5 p.m. for dinner.
I heard a 5 a.m. on the broadcast.
Can someone fact check that and call us or text us?
I'm now contemplating going back and listening to it.
Please do that.
I'm like 99% sure Jesse mentioned that they will not get into Atlanta until 5 a.m. for some reason.
Well, maybe they're taking horseback.
Maybe
because that would be probably quicker.
Yeah, or maybe they are walking because Shildt in the clubhouse was like, if you guys don't win today, you're walking.
Right. That's the new formula to get this team off the schneid. So if you missed it earlier, the Padres actually, to Jim's earliest point, showed signs of life. They scored first. They overcame a deficit in the 9th inning to tie it. They led in the 10th and 11th innings, only to lose. So they showed signs of life. They picked themselves up off the mat, but some of it, Jim, is almost more demoralizing. Losing 14-0 is like you just lost. It's so easy to move on. Losing in which they lost today, the manner in which they lost today, super demoralizing. Like that plane ride isn't going to be overly enjoyable considering the way they lost here today.
No, it's going to be an awful plane ride. Everyone's going to be pissed off. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they are just wiping the slate clean and moving on because guess what, John? It's baseball.
It is baseball.
There's a game the next day, and you can go out tomorrow and you can win 5-1, and then the 6-game losing streak is firmly behind you. Or you could lose 5-1, and then you have lost 7 in a row, and then it just feels like it's snowballing to the point where when is this going to ever end?
Who do you think? Remember a year ago, we'd be like, Profar was a little bit of that glue, adversity, grit player, came through in the clutch. They've had some players on this team come through in the clutch. Certainly Jackson Merrill in his
Gavin Sheets today
short career
came through in the clutch.
But who do you think they're turning to? Not necessarily at the plate, but from a team perspective. Without Jerks and Profar, Merrill's still a young player. I mean, are you turning to Manny? Manny's the guy that said this isn't high school baseball to Kevin 2 years ago. Toddy's still a 26-year-old. I mean, you turn to Xander. Xander's hitting 230. So, like, when the going gets tough, who's bringing this group together? Obviously, Mike Shildt, but I mean, that goes without saying. They could lose 30 straight. Mike Shildt would tell you about their lineup and how it's Hall of Fame caliber. So, like, who's the guy to when it gets tough to point him back in the right direction? Is that a fair question?
Very fair.
Is it Joe Musgrove? Well, he's not active.
I feel like the first player that comes to my mind, it's not fair to him, but it's Jackson Merrill. To rely on a second-year guy with a team full of veterans to be like that guy. When Jackson Merrill's the first person I think about to be that guy that you just talked about, what does that say about the other guys on this team, like Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts? Xander Bogaerts can't do that because he's not good.
Right.
Like, you got to be good, I feel like.
And that's my problem with, like, Musgrove is a leader. He is a born leader. But when you're not on the active roster, it's different.
It's completely different.
Yu Darvish has been in the big leagues a long time, but he's also, not active. And I mean, I don't think they're turning to him. He's not even with them.
No.
So, where are you looking when things get tough? I think is a fair question. And I mean, if they're only looking towards their manager, I mean, their manager proved a year ago he could get him out of it with the losing streaks, the 4 or 5 game losing streak. So, I mean, he'll continue to be confident. I know that. I just wonder, what happens on the other side of playing like this from a team perspective? They just figure it out. It's just inevitability.
They don't have a choice.
They really don't.
That's where they were last year. They didn't have a choice and they figured it out.
Right.
It can be done. And they're still 6 games over 500. They're not 6 games under 500. It'd be much worse if they were 6 games under.
Right.
But they're not, because they're hot start. They do have they have that wiggle room where you can withstand a 6-game losing streak and not be dead in the water it feels like you're dead in the water. 6-game losing streak in May isn't going to kill you. It's not. It is the most frustrating thing on the planet. Especially the way they play. It's not like they've lost games six times in a row like today. I mean, they're getting their ass kicked the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not pretty. Like, they weren't even fighting. They weren't battling. Today they battled,
right?
According to Mike Shildt.
Right.
So once they get out of it, because I do feel like they're going to get out of it. They're going to win another game this year, John. They're not going to go 27 and 130 whatever, or whatever the case is.
No, there's no doubt, but will they get out of it to the degree that is necessary to put themselves in a position like they put themselves in last year? And that is completely debatable.
I think that they can.
Yeah, they definitely can.
Because the hot start really gave them the wiggle room that they needed
Right.
and that they need if they go through a slump like today. Because if somehow they take 2 or 3 from Atlanta,
Yeah, which is possible, of course.
possible, and they're 29 and 21 coming home to play the Marlins and the Pirates. And if you played good baseball against the Marlins and the Pirates, you know, I know it doesn't feel this way right now, but if you had a 4-2 homestand, now you are what, 33 and 23?
You had the math wrong initially because if they go 2-1 this weekend, they have a 22nd loss.
Oh,
But I get your point. They'd be well positioned.
33 and 24.
I don't even know.
But my point is
that
they're still 6 games over.
Yeah.
They're not dead.
No,
they're not a team that's just like, oh, season is just, what's happening here? 29 or 27 and 21.
Okay. Counterpoint. I agree with you. You sound like me. I sound like you. Counterpoint. Fangraphs.
Counterpoint. Season over.
Fangraphs doesn't have any opinions. It's just putting numbers into a chart from Dan Zimborski. Odds to make postseason. I know it's May. Dodgers 98%. Giants 51%. Diamondbacks 50%. Padres 38.4% as of today. That's not me. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that the path is not guaranteed. All this save bullets for Darvish, upgrade at the deadline, position yourself for the postseason. I agree, but I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be. You're not hanging on to anything. Like you're not. Well, they just stay 6 games over 500. Okay, maybe that's good enough. Maybe not. Not that you're making that point. I'm just saying. Yeah, you're right. They're not going to lose every game, but we also don't know if what happened last year happens this year, which is they get hot when they need to get hot.
And
that's just the point. So we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We just don't know.
Rockies, by the way, 0.0.
Yeah, they're on pace, John, to
lose a lot.
End the season 70 plus games out of first place.
I saw that first team ever, right?
That would be the most incredible stat ever. I need that to happen.
Dude, 8 and 42. Let's do quick math. That's 50 games.
Oh
So times 8 by 3, that's 24 wins through 150. Let's give them 2 more wins just to be gracious. That's 26 and 136. That's their pace right now. 26 and 136.
So what you're saying is
Padres already have 27 wins.
Their season might be over.
If the Padres don't win another game, they may finish a game ahead of the Rockies. That would be crazy.
That's all I want.
Although that would be a bad story.
It'd be a really bad story. Team loses 130 in a row.
Doesn't even get the top pick in the draft.
No, because the Rockies are worse.
All right, we're going to continue to react. We do want to hear from you. 70470. Start your message with the word team. People are asking for Shildt postgame sound off the text line. Maybe you missed it. We'll bring it back to you on the other side. Plus, we're giving away SDFC tickets. Be listening for that goal call. When you hear goal, call 877-767-4760. You can qualify to win 2 free tickets for an upcoming match, May 31st. Well, that's the winner at 5:30. Padres have lost 6 straight. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway. That's every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword entered at sportssd.com. Be listening for that goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win SDFC tickets. Coming up May 31st, Snapdragon Stadium. We'll announce the winner of those tickets at 5:30. We'll qualify someone every hour. There is good news for Padres fans. Jim will be leaving for Hawaii, which means the Padres will immediately turn their season back around. Last year, he went to Europe and they went like 12-0 to the point where we were like, do not return to the mainland, dude. Stay off American soil. Stay in Switzerland.
Every morning when I woke up in Europe last year,
won.
It was like Jackson Merrill, 3-run homer in the 9th inning to tie the game. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Every game, Jackson Merrill, it feels like last year when I was in Europe, hit some huge home run in August. He carried that team.
Well, maybe he'll do it when you're in Hawaii.
Weren't they playing the Pirates last year when I was in Europe last year?
I think that's right.
They play the Pirates again.
Yeah.
Did they also play the Marlins when I was?
I think that's right. Let's just say it.
That's right. Sounds right to me.
Right.
But guys, starting Saturday night, don't worry. This team will go on a winning streak starting Saturday night.
Oh, absolutely.
Tomorrow night, I really don't know. But what I can guarantee is starting on Saturday when I, get to Hawaii, this team will play much better. Just much better.
And again, if that does happen, you're going to have to deal with the punishment of staying in Hawaii.
Oh, no.
You're just going to have to stay there.
Oh, man.
You and Aaron.
Shoot.
All right. 877-767-4760. We'll hear from Mike Shildt again coming up. But we do want to get to the phones if you want to weigh in. Padres have lost 6 straight for the first time since 2023. 877-767-4760. Let's go to Dave on line 1. Dave, you're back with us here on Jon and Jim.
Well, thanks again, guys. And it's a shame that what's happening is happening with the ball club. But, Jon, I think you pointed out last night on the wrap-up show, I think one of the troubling things here is that great start that they've manufactured is seemingly now going up in smoke for many reasons. And, we've discussed them all ad nauseum, but I think that the big thing that concerns me, and I think probably a lot of others, is that this team is so depth-ridden and that you can't really give days off to a lot of these guys that need them, especially the older players, because you just don't have. There's such a drop-off in noticeable talent there. So I don't know where they go from here, but I can certainly see them not doing very well in Atlanta either, because Atlanta's on a bit of a heater right now as well. And so you're going to come back here, a 1-5 road trip. You basically evaporated a lot of that good that happened. And this is a tough spot to be in because they look tired to me. I don't know how you guys think about that. They look tired.
Appreciate you, Dave. They just, I don't know if it's tired, Jim, or they just look bad. I mean, the 5 games, they looked awful, like historically bad. Today, they didn't look awful. They didn't look tired, but I don't know. Teams that lose don't look good. And they've been losing a lot, so they haven't looked good.
It's a baseball season. There's going to be times when you are tired. The grind is unlike any other sport. It just is. When I was with the team and covered the team every single day, and I was at the ballpark for 81 games, dude, I was exhausted when the season was over, and I didn't play at all. Imagine what these guys are feeling. So, yeah, the grind of a baseball season is difficult. But that's why they're professionals, and they know what they signed up for. They know what they're playing for. This is nothing new to guys like Manny and Xander and the pitching staff, and Jackson Merrill. Now he went through it last year. Tatis, like, this is nothing new to them.
Same thing they're dealing with. The Blue Jays deal with, and the Braves deal with.
Every team deals with this.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You're right. I mean, the sport requires a little bit. It's a unique sport. They're not playing it weekly. They are playing it daily, and it's hard to be at your best every day. We understand that. That's why really good records are like 162. They lose 62 times. Really good team. I mean, historically good teams could lose 60 plus times. So it's part of it. Guess what? Teams have lost 6 before and been good. Teams have started 14-3 before, maybe not be as good as that. So I think ultimately they're going to settle in to be a team between the one we saw early and the team we're seeing now. And they're going to find their footing and find their way through this and get to where they need to get. That's what I believe, like what you said earlier. But I also think it's going to require more than maybe I thought when they started 14-3. Like I thought maybe not cakewalk, but they could just navigate it because they started so fast. But now I don't know if I really feel that way based on what I've seen play out over really not the last 6 days, but over the last month plus.
What was it? If they, after the 14-3 start, if they just played 500 ball the rest of the way, there was like 88 wins or something like that?
88 and 74 would be 14 over.
Okay.
So let's say
85.
87 and 75 would have been 12 over. They could have played one over to win 87 games.
And that
they haven't done that.
Might not do it this year in the
Right,
National League.
Right. Exactly. Look at St. Louis. Jeff Passan's writing articles about them. Best defensive team ever.
Shildt would be proud.
Fun to watch, right? Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know if 87 wins will do it or not.
It's just tough because, like you mentioned, when you start out so hot, that kind of feels like where all the fans are looking at is the standard of this team. When it's in reality, like that's not going to happen for the entire year. 14-3, I've said teams would die to have a 14-3 stretch, just anywhere in their season. And when you get it, literally the first 17 games of your year where you go 14-3. Then the season sets in, then the ups and downs of baseball happen, the roller coaster happens, and you gotta, fight out of these slumps and make sure that the start that you had, you don't give it away, and that you continue to build on that, even if it's you have a month where you're only a game over 500. At least that's better than being a month where you're 6 games under 500.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And I kind of wonder, like the month of May has been shot to some extent, right? Like this isn't going to be a month, I wouldn't imagine, where they're going to be over 500. They've lost 6 straight this month. I don't know what their record is this month, but it's going to be hard for them, I would guess, to be over 500 this month.
Let's look at their record for this month. All right.
Right. I mean, they're 13 and 18 in their last 31.
So I'm just going to do this on the fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoop, that's the wrong month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 8 and 10.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, you can set any start and stop point in any season to make it look good or bad.
Yeah.
Right. Because from 14-3, they're 13 and 18. But you could also say, like you said, from May 1st, well, they're 8 and 10. So you can set start and stop points. Ultimately, they are who they are, 27 and 21. Mm-hmm. So they are right now, and let's see where they are moving forward. It's tough to forecast with this team. It's really tough to forecast with this team.
Because they're streaky. They are a streaky team. When things are going bad, they are bad. When they're going good, they're really good.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Manny Machado. I'm not going to sit here and have the conversation about leadership. I'm just not, because that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But the way he plays, it feels like it rubs off on the team. Right now, Manny Machado is in a huge slump.
And I think the leadership conversation, I agree with you. It's not necessarily for today, but we've had it.
Yeah.
It's not like we've ducked
multiple
it.
times.
We haven't ducked it. I mean, again, I think a lot of Padres fans come to us because we try to critique truthfully and honestly, whether it's good or bad, which includes right now, and it's been really bad. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Shildt. If you missed it on the other side, as the Padres have lost 6 straight, be listening for that goal sounder. When you hear a call, 877-767-4760 for your chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC. We're here until 6 p.m. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres lose again today. They have now lost 6 in a row. This time in extra innings, 7-6 to the Blue Jays. Next up, they'll take on the Atlanta Braves for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night in Atlanta. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals later tonight. 5:30 tip-off time in Oklahoma City. Thunder and T-Wolves. Thunder have a 1-0 series lead there. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Padres on their way for Atlanta. Losers of 6 straight. Do we have the Mike Shildt sound that we can cue up? Mike Shildt spoke post-game, believe it or not.
Wow, we didn't duck Kevin Acee?
Despite the right, he only spoke to Kevin Acee, despite the fact that the Padres lost in walk-off fashion today in Toronto. So let's hear from Shildt. He starts by talking about the Padres' 6 straight loss.
Obviously didn't go great either way. The battle's a key word today. Fought our tails off. Got a little back to playing our kind of game. A lot of, able to get some big hits. Louis Sheets late. Sheets big day, obviously. A big homer, big couple homers, 5 RBIs. Good at bats against a couple tough lefties from those guys. Cola gave us a chance. Yuki, Sean, Jason kept him right there. Extra innings, obviously, the guy starts at second. We were able to, get it done twice and just couldn't get it shut down.
What are you seeing out of Kolek? Like when he's in the zone, it's great. Today he left a few in the middle probably, but like you said, he gave you a chance, battled the 6 innings.
Battled through 6, not an extra base hit, a couple self-inflicted walks. But, like you said, a couple balls over the plate, but he was around the plate all day, throwing strikes and, for the most part. And like I said, at 4, gave us a chance. Bullpen gave us a chance and, just couldn't quite bring it home.
I don't want to like a loss is a loss.
Yeah, that's right.
But this is 6 straight.
It is.
And you haven't done that before.
That's right.
I guess it'd be different if you hadn't battled today. You're probably going to say that this is how you get out of it, is playing like this, having at bats like this. But like, how does this team, which was so good for 5 or 6, 7 weeks, get back to that?
Yeah, uncharted territory. I mean, nobody really here's experienced that. And, I do believe, I thought about the last couple, days. And then, of course, today I felt good about us winning the game. But, as you reflect back on where we're at, first of all, to your point, listen, today is exactly how you get out of it. That's just how this works. You play our game. And today, we played some good defense. Toddy, a good play, multiple good defensive plays, one cost us, but tough at bats. Guys had, aggressive throwing strikes in the zone. They got hits. We didn't really, not a lot was self-inflicted. That's how that happens. And what I was getting back to is, I really am confident that this is going to only make us stronger. There is no question about that. It will make us stronger. It doesn't feel great right now. Very soon it'll be a distant memory as we continue to get back to playing on the good side of the left-hand side of the win column. And, listen, it's just going to make us stronger and it'll make us closer.
The one thing that you can never doubt about Mike Shildt is he will always try to speak positivity into existence.
Mm-hmm.
He will speak anything that he feels into existence, or at least try his hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Team could lose 10 in a row and he could still feel confident. And he could still say, this too shall pass, and we're doing the right things, and I love our fight and our grit, and blah, 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 blah. At some point, the talk just becomes in one ear, out the other with the fans. You got to go out there and just go win a baseball game.
Here's what I want to know, because you're spot on. Here's what I want to know. Because having spent as much time as we both have around college and professional sports, I know that what's being shown publicly isn't actually what's transpiring.
Right. Yeah.
I want to know what's happening.
Well,
and I want to, What's that?
We won't ever
No,
know.
but I want to know, and this goes back to my point from earlier in the hour, which is like, when it gets tough, where are they turning? Who's speaking up? What type of tone are they using? Because trust me, there's no way that while Mike Shildt is saying that, his message is identical all season long. Like, there's going to be a point where you're going to have to push a different button and you're going to have to try something different. I'm not saying it's table tossing time or like WWE, we're throwing tables and, turning over the spread after the game because they didn't play well. But I do wonder, I know we're not going to find out. I'm just curious what the dynamic is like in that room, because we've seen crazy dynamics here. 2023, where the thing just goes in the tank and they talk about the dynamic of the clubhouse. 2024, what a collective group, right? Man, the dynamic was so good, they could get themselves out of the troubles that they went through a year ago. What's it like this year? We won't know really until the end of the year, but I'm curious. Is it look more like 2024 because of Shildt? Does it look like 2023 because they don't have Profar? I just want to know what it looks like on the inside. Like you said, we're not going to know, but I know my point is on the inside, it doesn't look like what he is saying publicly.
Nothing does. Mike Shildt always puts up a front of this. Everything's great.
But sometimes it is great.
Sometimes it is,
You know?
Sometimes it's not. Right now, it's not.
Right.
As soon as you saw today, that this is going to sound stupid, but they wore the brown tops today. That to me signaled we're trying something new.
I agree.
And
I texted you. I'm like, brown tops.
Brown tops.
Win by 50.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
I'm sure they've done things in that dugout that are different. I'm sure they've done things in the clubhouse that are different. I'm sure this is not something that they're just like not thinking about.
Right.
They're all thinking about this. They all know what's happening. They all know they've lost 6 in a row. They all know they've played like I almost cursed. They've played like really bad baseball over the last 6 games. Like they all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're I don't think that they're not trying new things. It's just not working for them. And it's going to have to take some. And today I thought it was going to be Gavin Sheets, but they got to make it stick. Like today was the perfect game that you could, if you made it stick, we would today be talking about Gavin Sheets is the guy that stepped up and said enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You would have loved it to be Manny or Toddy or Xander, but Xander was in the lineup today, and Manny and Toddy went over. So they're just going to have to grind their way through this. It's like the most cliche crap you could possibly say about a baseball season, one game at a time,
right.
Grind it out. It's baseball. What other cliche you want to throw out there to get out of any slump? And that's what they're going to have to do. And it's not fun to think that way, right? Because you are in a mindset of, well, this team's never going to win a baseball game ever again. But the fact of the matter is,
they will.
They're going to have they're going to win series again. They're going to win multiple games in a row again. Like it will happen. It just when you go through a 6-game losing streak, it feels maybe worse than it is, even though this is like really bad.
And they have in these 6 games found some incredible ways to lose, like the historically bad 5 games heading into today. I mean, it was historically bad. We didn't even touch on that today. They did something over a 5-game losing streak that's only been done once, and it was by the expansion Padres, their first 5 losses. I mean, that's how poorly they had played. And then you get the high of Gavin Sheets' homer today in the 9th inning off the Blue Jays closer, and then taking leads in both the 10th and 11th innings only to lose. That's as demoralizing as it gets in a regular season. It's hard to lose a game more painfully than the way they lost this game here today. But you're right. I mean, what other option do they have other than to turn their attention out to Atlanta and to turn their attention to ending this losing streak? And I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I'm watching Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm watching Manny Machado. I'm seeing Jackson Merrill. And I'm asking for more, because they're not, it's as simple, but it's as hard as that. I mean, Tatis is really going through it right now. We gave you the numbers. Machado's really going through it right now. Merrill is in like the first prolonged slump of his career. I know he had 2 singles today, but until they change the way they're playing, it's going to be more of the same, unfortunately.
Well, we mentioned about the loss of Jurickson Profar of this team. It's not just what he did on the field, which was huge and the most important thing,
right?
Although what Jurickson Profar brought to the table last year, but it was the intangibles. It was the grit. It was the smile that he brought every single day. He just made everybody else just have more fun just because he was there. The team's not having fun right now. Where's that guy that's like the clubhouse clown? Where's the guy that's making everybody laugh?
Good point.
I don't know who that is on this team. Last year, it was easily Jerks and Profar. You go right to Profar, and it was more impactful because he actually was put up an all-star season, and he was a leader, and so people looked to him. And when the vibes were down, easy to go to one guy to get those vibes back up. And that was Jerks and Profar. Vibes are down right now. Who are you going to get those vibes back up? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I'm going to try to, I don't know if Kevin's postgame article has been posted yet. I want to see quotes from inside the clubhouse other than from Mike Shildt. And when we see those, we will bring those to you. Plus the 4:00 hour, we will get to the wrap. We'll talk about last night in the NBA. Just incredible drama last night at MSG. We're giving away these SDFC tickets. Be listening for that goal call. And when you hear it, call 877-767-4760. We're qualifying listeners every hour for a chance to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st next weekend at Snapdragon Stadium. But we continue to react. The Padres have lost 6 consecutive games for the first time since 2023. They're on their way for Atlanta. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And listen to this, coming up Saturday, June 14th. Get ready to kick off summer in style with their annual Players Party. Enjoy $20 free play for all from 6 a.m. to midnight. Indulge in free food for everyone from 11 to 3 p.m., 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Jive Lounge. This is an event you won't want to miss. Join us and start the summer off right.
And Father's Day is coming up soon here. Show Dad how much he means to you with a decadent brunch at Prime Cut from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on June 15th, featuring lobster tails and hand-carved prime rib. Make his day extra special with the meal that he'll love.
Catch all the sports action at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub and catch UFC 316 coming up Saturday, June 7th at 7 p.m. That's at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, and their poker room. It's all available at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply.
So, Kristen is a huge Pacers fan.
Massive.
Was she freaking out last night?
Yeah, we were all kind of freaking out last night because what we also did is they're like down 14. This was before 2:35 left. They were like just down 14. It was like 6 or 8 minutes left. They went on a 10-0 run, the Knicks did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this game's over.
Yeah.
And I was putting Jones to sleep. And then she goes in, as she always does for a few minutes before he goes to bed. And she hits pause. I'm like, why are you pausing it? I'd rather just watch it live. They're not winning. Like that.
That's why your reaction to me was very delayed because I sent a text to you.
So then she unpauses it. It's at the 6 or 8 minute mark. I was doing dishes. Now we're watching, and Neesmith is on fire, but they're still not winning this game, right? It's 8, it's 10, it's 7.
40 seconds left. They're not.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not winning this game. And then all of a sudden, I sit down with like 2 minutes to play. But he's like, it's at least possible.
You want to see it through.
Yeah. And again, I had turned my phone over because now this kid is hitting shots. So actually, I think I plugged in my phone and put it up because I'm like, maybe. And it was truly incredible. It was one of the most remarkable live sporting events I can recall like that. And I know Indiana's had a few of them behind Tyrese Halliburton this postseason, but to do it at the Garden and to do it with the choke signal and to do it with the bounce off the rim and to win in overtime like that. I mean, we've all watched a lot of sporting events over the years. That to me is a pretty memorable game. And that shot is about as clutch as you get from Tyrese Halliburton.
All right. So here's some stats to just further illustrate how epic last night was. All right. Teams that are up 14 plus points in the final 250 of a playoff fourth quarter or overtime in the play-by-play era are 977-1. That one was last night. Another stat for you. Record of teams that trailed by 9+ points in the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime of a playoff game since 1998, entering Wednesday night. 1 in 1,414. That one was last night, the Pacers. Another one for you. The Pacers have 3 wins this year in the postseason when trailing by 7+ points in the final 50 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. The record since 1996 of teams that have those same stats are 4 in 1,702. That means they have 3 of those 4 wins this postseason. And finally, according to ESPN's win probability, Indiana had a 99.7% probability of losing against the Knicks in game 1. They had a 95.9% probability of losing versus Cleveland in game 2 and a 97.9% probability of losing in game 5 versus Milwaukee. The odds of winning all 3 of those games, which by the way they did,
it's like 1 in a zillion,
is 1 in 387,147.
Which is why you may be saying that they're going to find a way to do this and just win it all because they've done things that nobody's ever done, like in the history of the sport. And also, I've said this before, with teams that lose in the manner in which the Knicks lost, how do you pick yourself back up after that? It's as historically good as it was for Indiana. It's historically awful for the Knicks at MSG with that type of lead that late. And the New York Post put it pretty well. Choke 2.0 from Reggie Miller to Tyrese Halliburton to blow that lead. I don't care what Tyrese Halliburton did or Neesmith did. You cannot lose that game. And they managed to lose that game.
I'm rooting for the Knicks. I was rooting for the Knicks. I think I still am in this series. I don't know.
Back and forth.
I love Tyrese Halliburton, by the way. Like, love this kid.
He's unbelievable.
But as soon as Halliburton hit that shot, did the choke sign, pointed at Reggie Miller courtside as Reggie's calling the game, laughing into the microphone on national television, I immediately flipped to, and I know it was a 2-pointer. I wish it was a 3.
No, but it almost makes it better that it was a 2 because they still, you do the choke hold and then you still need to outplay them, and they did.
But that was the key to last night to make that choke celebration be iconic. Because if the Pacers lose that game, that choke signal or that chokes it doesn't hit.
You know
the
what
same.
the New York Post would have said? Choke. Because like the Pacers would have choked it away the other way.
Right. They would have used it against the Pacers.
Because it would have been the like impetus for the Knicks to respond, him doing that.
Yeah. So I am so happy that choke celebration is now going to be viewed for all time as, what it should have been, which is the Knicks blew that game. Now, the Pacers also played incredible last night in the fourth quarter. In the last 2 minutes, they outscored the Knicks 20-6 in 2 minutes.
235. They scored 51 points in the fourth quarter in overtime.
The Knicks also scored 45 points in the fourth and overtime as well.
It was a 6-point game going in, or it was like a 2-point game going into the fourth, but then they opened it up to like 14.
Pacers scored 38 in the fourth quarter. Knicks scored 35. So it wasn't like a blowout fourth quarter, but still, that was an iconic moment in that series. And just in sports, like, dude, I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Anybody out there that's maybe hating on the Halliburton choke, give me a break. That was freaking awesome. Now, what you just said there, how do you recover from this? How do the Knicks recover from this epic choke in game one? Well, if history is repeating itself here, the choke series that Reggie Miller gave to Spike Lee, do you know who won that series?
The Knicks won the series. Yeah.
So it's happened before, and it's happened between these two teams before, where an epic collapse. And honestly, what would you say is more of an epic collapse? The Reggie Miller choke or this one?
Reggie happened in such unbelievable fashion. It was much quicker.
8 points in 9 seconds.
Yeah, or 9 points in 8 seconds.
8 points in 9 seconds.
Right. But this, though,
that gave them the lead, too.
This was more to blow a 14-point lead to me is, again, it's all recency bias. Yeah. If you saw them both, you'd have opinions on them both. I saw one of them last night, and I'm telling you, for an NBA team to lose a 14-point lead at home with 2:35 to play is a complete and utter choke job, just like the Reggie Miller choke. That's why they're saying choke 2.0. Both were horrific.
I just love the understanding of the moment from Tyrese Halliburton, that he hits that shot. And by the way, just insane shot. I would love to know the percentage of times that a ball has bounced on the back of the rim like that, gone straight up in the air 15 feet, and then dropped in without touching the net.
Dude, the shot that Kawhi hit in the corner bounced half the height of Halliburton's shot last night.
And that also hit the rim a couple times too, right? Like it hit the rim once and it fell in.
Yeah, and this one was perfectly through. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 1 in 100,000.
It just an incredible moment. It would have been better. Still was a great moment.
Was behind the line.
His foot was behind the line, but still, it doesn't take away from the fact that celebration and that moment, I was up like cheering. That was
incredible.
It was an incredible moment.
I just honestly, and I also think that Tyrese Halliburton should be like, for whatever reason, people don't believe that he's been called the most overrated
dude.
And I've heard everything on him. I heard coming into like this year, he's not clutch. He's like the clutchest player I've ever seen in my life. This guy, if he didn't play for the Pacers, would be among the more celebrated players in the league. He has like superstar qualities. He just happens to play for the Indiana Pacers. His postseason is on par with like anyone's postseason. He's been so clutch in the postseason. He's been incredible. If he was doing it in New York or LA, it would be like the most celebrated postseason ever.
Hot take. To me, Tyrese Halliburton is more of a household name than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I think he is. He's also, maybe. He's also been in the league longer, right?
Yes. But I do think, like, if you're telling me right now, Shai, if you had to pick one player to watch,
I want to watch Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, it's Tyrese Halliburton.
His like awkward shot and the way he makes it like rain with his. I mean, you can't have a higher arcing three than Tyrese Halliburton.
Well, it's not just that. He is one of the best passers in the league.
He's a good passer, yeah.
He's one of the best. I mean, he's one of the best ball handlers in the league as well.
I love his step back.
He is unorthodox, but his style, I just like watching it. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but Yeah, sorry to any SGA fan out there. To me, Tyrese Halliburton is more of a must-watch than the MVP of the league.
We might see them up against each other.
Maybe.
It may be determined on floor coming up later this summer. All right, on the other side, we'll get to the wrap. Plus, we're going to qualify listeners for a chance to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC. That's coming up on May 31st. Be listening for that goal sounder when you hear a call, 877-767-4760. More reactions to the Padres getting swept in Toronto by the Blue Jays. They've lost 6 straight. The Wrap kicks off hour 3 of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Goal! Anders Dreyer was dancing, dancing, dancing. He's a goal machine.
This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres lose again. They have now lost 6 games in a row. Next up, trip to Atlanta, where they start a 3-game series tomorrow night against Chris Sale. And tonight, game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in OKC, Thunder and T-Wolves. They tip off at 5:30 p.m. with the Thunder leading that series 1-0. Rapid Radios are instant push to talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We do have quotes from inside the Padres clubhouse we will share with you. We are qualifying listeners to win SDFC tickets for May 31st. Be listening for a goal call. And when you hear that goal play-by-play radio call 877-767-4760 for your chance to be qualified to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC on May 31st. First things first. It is now being reported within the last 20 minutes. Ronald Acuna Jr. is expected to be activated this weekend.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
He's coming off his ACL. It's been 362 days that he's been out.
And he happens to be returning against the Padres that have lost 6 in a row.
Correct. They're also going to face a dangerous rotation that includes the Cy Young Award winner, Chris Sale.
And Schwellenbach, who was doing really good at the start of the season. He's kind of cooled off a little bit, but he's a really good pitcher.
Okay, so it will not be easy, obviously, for the Padres. Now, Kevin Acee was traveling to Toronto. He was inside the clubhouse. We have some quotes, Jim.
Ooh, give me a quote. Give me a juicy quote.
Here's one that listen to the lead of the article. Okay, so they lose their 6th straight. What do you think the lead is? Like, what's the first sentence before a quote? What's Kevin saying in this first sentence? Roughly. Give me an idea. They've lost 6 straight. It's the longest since 2023. It was a heartbreaker.
I'm going to guess that he used something that Mike Shildt said, and it's going to go towards yes, the Padres have lost 6 in a row, but this is the type of game that they're going to need to play and have to play to get out of this 6-game losing streak.
Bingo, ding. Congratulations.
I didn't even read the article.
Yep. This is the lead. The Padres reminded themselves who they were. What? I don't know. It's a little stretchy because they lost. And then the next line is this. I like this game, Luis Arraez said. This game is the San Diego Padres. When we compete, we look like that. I'm okay. Right? I mean, they ended up losing this game. There was another interesting quote in here. I like this from Merrill. We hit better. We scored. That's pretty obvious. And then there's the Shildt stuff. There's a line from Sheets about them fighting, and it's a 162. It's the standard stuff. It's the standard stuff.
We're fighting a lot today. We just need to continue to play hard.
Yep.
Man, we have a great team. Everybody knows we have a great team. We just need to continue to play baseball. And the good thing is we got another opportunity tomorrow, Luis Arraez said.
We kind of ripped that a year ago, but again, they kind of proved it right in the second half.
The Padres have 114 games remaining, John.
Yeah, which means they've played 48. So, it's not early, it's not late, but it's not early. They've played 48 baseball games. They're 27-21, which is good. The bad is they've lost 6 straight.
Would you consider this game reminded them who they are?
Not really. I was hoping we'd see something after a 14-0 loss.
Gavin Sheets stepped up
in
a huge way after getting their ass kicked last night. And again, it was the Gavin Sheets game.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a balanced attack from this lineup.
Right.
It just wasn't. Like you mentioned, they scored 6 runs today. 2 of those were in extra innings, thanks to Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets doesn't have that 2-run homer in the 9th inning. They lose again, which they already did, lost today, but they lose again and they only score 2 runs. So it's not much
if
better.
he doesn't play, like you said earlier, they have 0 runs.
Right.
Unless someone that replaces Gavin Sheets somehow ends up hitting.
Now, these are all what ifs.
I know.
And
It counts. What do you think?
The fact of the matter is, he played today. He had an awesome game, and he gave them a chance to win. And that's all that you ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But then you break down the game even more, and their big bats still haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. were the players today that did absolutely nothing for this team. And when you are in a losing streak like this, that's when you look upon your star players to get you out of this losing streak. It's nice that another player stepped up in Gavin Sheets today, but that's not fair to Gavin. I mean, it's not fair to ask Gavin Sheets and Brandon Lockridge, like, you guys need to step up today.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely
it's great that
right.
they did, but
that's not gonna be your path to a really good year.
That's not your bread and butter. Your bread and butter is Manny, Tatis, and Merrill.
Listen to this in Kevin's article. The Padres walked off the field in expressionless silence as the Blue Jays exulted in the infield. But then he wrote this, but the visiting clubhouse did not have the funeral atmosphere it had after recent games. Okay. Yeah, that's my thought too. I mean, I get the atmosphere recently. I mean, they had truly done nothing for days on end. They were shut out in back-to-back games. That's not easy to do. They scored 3 runs in 5 games.
Well, at least from the standpoint of like positives from today, they at least got to celebrate some like good moments. The Gavin Sheets throwing homer there earlier on in the game, the Gavin Sheets home run in the 9th, the Luis Arraez go-ahead RBI there in the 10th, finally getting a hit with runners in scoring position, and then again Gavin Sheets coming through there in the 11th, putting the team up. Like, they got to at least celebrate some moments today to like get some joy back, but it all quickly goes away when those moments don't stick and turn into a win.
Are you a believer in that Shildt idea that like what doesn't kill us makes us stronger and we'll be better off for the adversity? Some teams, the best teams in the sport, sometimes don't deal with a ton of adversity, although even teams like the Dodgers this year.
You can only say that if you actually turn it around.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year's team could say that
because they turned it
after
around.
the fact, because they turned it around.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, it's really hard to say those things.
Right.
It just is. I mean, a fan base is not going to sit there. Majority of the fan base isn't going to sit there and be like, yeah, you know what? It's okay. No, everyone's pissed off. You guys lost 6 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that the fan base is going to just not watch the team anymore. Like, that's not what we're saying. It's that everybody is pissed off. That this clubhouse today, according to Ace man, the Ace dog,
right?
Ace bro,
yeah,
wasn't doom and gloom.
Was not, right?
But that's a different mindset with the fan base right now, which is really pissed off from what they've seen the last 6 days.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance because part of you wants to be like, you've lost 6 straight. You better be doom and gloom and frustrated and quiet on the plane and not playing music and not play. But that doesn't really solve anything either. So, but it's a delicate balance because you don't want them in the clubhouse being like, who cares? All good. Let's enjoy the plane ride. See you in Atlanta.
Well, that's what I said.
No concerns.
That's why I said, who's going to be that guy that I'm not saying step up on the field, but step up in the clubhouse and loosen everybody up.
Well, if you were doing a draft, who would be your first pick to be that guy? I mean, Jackson Merrill, the 22-year-old?
No, Jackson Merrill's no.
Not your first pick. And Manny Machado's not my first pick. I promise you that.
Not even close.
I mean, Xander Bogaerts would be towards the top if he could play and was backing up his words on field.
Honestly, my first pick might be like Jose Iglesias or like Tyler Wade.
Yeah, that's a problem though, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, anybody in that clubhouse step up. Now, it might not stick because these guys stink. Like Tyler Wade is not what Jerks and Profar was last year, and Jose Iglesias is not what Jerks and Profar was last year. But what Jose Iglesias did in New York with the OMG movement, I'm not saying replicate that here or do the exact same thing, because then it would just be cringy and forced.
Right.
But he did that for the Mets. Why can't he do it here in San Diego? Right?
No, that's fair. I would agree with that. But it goes to your initial point on Profar. And by the way, it's not like Profar solves anything with this year, because Profar did himself in this year. So they might not be any better off. They might be worse off with what played out. But the statement is still true that Jerks and Profar, we now have the evidence to prove this point. Jerks and Profar played a pivotal role both on and off the field for the Padres. Who now fills that role for the San Diego Padres? It's an important one.
Who is the vibes leader in the clubhouse? Who is the guy that loosens up the clubhouse when you are grinding and on a 6-game losing streak?
Right.
And for however many you're for 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is that guy? Who is going to step up? I don't know, because that person hasn't really shown themselves yet. Again, I said Jose Iglesias maybe just because of what he did in New York last year, but it's not like Jose Iglesias is lighting the world on fire either.
Gavin Sheets, he was on the White Sox. He's never been a full-time player.
I don't see that personality from
Either
Gavin Sheets.
Either do I, and that's why I'm asking the question. And maybe they don't need it. Every team's different. All these teams are different. All of them have different dynamics. This team has very good players, like Manny Machado, like Fernando Tatis Jr., but I do wonder where they turn when things are going like this, because this is unexpected to me. To get swept at home by Seattle and get swept at Toronto is a complete left turn on your season.
It's a left turn on your seasons right now.
Yep. Maybe they'll turn back right.
It's not a left turn on your entire season, but it's just a left turn right at this moment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can course correct quickly.
You think they can do it in the final 114?
I think they can.
All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Also coming up this hour, you've got a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. So we'll do that coming up later this hour. Plus, be listening for that goal sounder call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC at Snapdragon on May 31st. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. We're reacting to a Padres 6th straight loss. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. Jon and Jim, we are on the iHeartRadio app. Make sure to download it. Put us in your presets, both San Diego Sports 760 and Jon and Jim. You can listen to our show live with San Diego Sports 760 on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen back to our show through Jon and Jim because you can listen back to any hour or interview. So make sure to download it. The all-new iHeartRadio app will qualify someone this hour to win SDFC tickets. Be listening for that goal call from Adrian Garcia Marquez, their play-by-play voice, for a chance to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st here at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, we'll get back to the Padres, but right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Where do you guys rank Tyrese Halliburton's shot amongst the best in playoff history?
Well, I mean, if you want to go recency bias, best ever. But I don't think so because it didn't win the game. Now they did win the game, so it made the shot that much more impactful.
I'm with you on that. Not to say it's the best, but give me a couple that come to mind in, let's say, this century.
Okay, Jordan over Craig Elo
would be last century.
I was gonna say.
Oh,
but yeah,
sorry.
that's
I'm just thinking
that's a good one. That's a great one.
Like,
that's
I'm thinking the history of the sport.
I thought Kawhi in the corner is a pretty
This
darn
century.
big one.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. But Kawhi in the corner was a massive one to win Game 7.
To win the game,
Yeah, it was amazing.
What I can remember is back in 2015. You won't remember this because it's like a.
Is this like a Warriors thing?
It is. It was, I believe, it was Game 4. I don't remember what game it was. But Steph Curry hit a crazy three-pointer in the corner to tie it up with like 2 seconds left. He got fouled on the play. They didn't call it. It just tied the game. They went on to win in overtime. But that was
an easy shot. I remember it.
It was like over Anthony Davis and like 2 other people. It was insane.
I remember it like a layup. I'm kidding. Well, Steph has clearly had something in there.
I think like because of the moment that last night was with the comeback in New York at Madison Square Garden, the two teams, the history they have with each other, the choke. I mean, I think it's up there. I do think it's up there, and it will be remembered because the Pacers won that game. If the Pacers lost that game, I don't know if that's remembered the same way.
Oh, absolutely. You're 100% right. There have been some amazing moments that aren't completely finished off, therefore you don't remember it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Do I think it's the best shot in NBA playoff history? Absolutely not. Do I think it's one of the better shots in recent history in the postseason? Absolutely.
Like I could argue, and I'm a Warriors honk, but Game 3, 2017 in Cleveland, Kevin Durant hits like a huge three with like 30 seconds left to give them the lead.
Stop.
What?
I'm kidding.
Do you think the fact that it needed the bounce and it didn't go in clean
makes it better?
You think that makes it better?
Yeah, because it's so improbable.
It's luckier.
Of course, nobody could ever plan for that, like Kawhi.
No.
Yeah,
in Game 7. You can't plan for it. To me, it makes it even more unique and special.
You could shoot that shot 1,000 times
and never do
have
it.
it be exactly how it was last night.
I bet he could shoot it maybe more than that, 10,000 times.
Yeah,
and maybe not have
like trying to get the ball to bounce off the back of the rim perfectly 15 feet in the air and then
the
drop
shot clock
through the basket without hitting the net.
Look how high the shot clock is on a basketball basket. It went how high in the air, Jim? 10, 12 feet above the rim?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Next question.
Will the Padres ever win another game? Ever?
This is what I'm saying. This is a good question.
It's a good question. My answer to that is, man, I got to think about this one real quick.
I'm going to say definitively yes.
You know what? I will agree with you.
I'm going to go yes on
I think that in the next century, they will win at least one more game.
I'll double down. I think they do it this year.
This year?
I think I could see them winning another game.
That's a bold take, John.
They could win multiple games.
That's kind of a bold take that I don't know if we'll hit.
Next question.
Who wins tonight's game 2 between the Timberwolves and Thunder?
I'm going to go OKC on this one. I think they're going to honestly roll to a title.
They're 9-point favorites.
I think the Pacers could give them their biggest test. I think they would roll over the Knicks just because I don't think they have enough shooting, the Knicks. But I think the Pacers just they're a deep team. They're a young team, and combating the young dynamic Thunder against a young dynamic Pacers team, I think that could be that could potentially be a really, really good finals.
I'd just be surprised if it wasn't with the way the Pacers are playing. Like, they played so well, it would shock me if they weren't in that series. I also think Rick Carlisle is a terrific head coach, and I think that was on display last night. I think without him, they don't win that game.
Can you name me the head coach of the Thunder?
No, I saw him on TV the other day, and he looked like me.
I have no clue
And
who
it's
it
not
is.
me.
It's not Billy Donovan.
No. It's like me.
I have no idea who it is. They are a bunch
look
of,
it up.
besides SGA and Chet, they're a bunch of nobodies.
Oh, you know, Mark Dagniolo.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Doesn't this guy look like me? It's just like me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm the head coach of the Thunder.
Doesn't Caruso play for them?
He does, yeah.
Okay, see, there you go.
It was funny last night on Inside the NBA because they were talking to SGA before the game about his MVP. Did you guys see this? Charles Barkley.
I saw the whole thing post-game. Was this pre or post?
This pre.
Okay.
Charles Barkley was asking SGA, man, you guys were so great last night. That one player for you guys, number 34. Who is that? Who's number 34 on your team?
And that was...
And he's like, that guy was really good for you the other night.
He's ridiculous.
Proves the point that besides SGA, and I guess
Nobody
Caruso because he was with the Lakers, maybe Chet as well.
Chet, definitely.
'Cause he's a high draft pick.
Definitely Chet.
He's in commercials.
Annoying commercials.
Yeah.
They are truly a bunch of who?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Charles also said last night post-game, he's like, he called it the Thunder Invitational.
I know.
And I think he was referring more to the Western Conference Finals, but I tend to agree with that until proven wrong.
True.
Shea's also getting presented with his MVP trophy tonight as well. Yes.
It's a little jinxy. Next question.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you guys about the Padres?
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
6.3.
It can't be that serious. You moved it to a 6.
I was at like a 5 the other day. I'm at a 6 now.
I'll stay at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, using your theory of 114 games, 6 over, not 6 under.
Well, just because of this trip in Atlanta. I mean, you're facing.
Well, you asked me this question in 3 days and
Yeah.
they lose 3 times.
Yeah, it's Schwellenbach and Sale, and by the way,
Spencer Strider?
No, Strider's doesn't pitch in this series.
Okay.
At least he's not scheduled to pitch in this series.
Okay.
But Sale scheduled tomorrow, Schwellenbach scheduled for Sunday, and by the way, Ronald Acuna Jr. is returning off the IL tomorrow.
Oh, just him, just the former MVP, his 40-70 season, right? A couple years ago.
If you look
Look at that lineup.
seriously,
Yeah.
thanks,
For the
Shilty.
Braves.
If you look at what the Braves have done at home this year, John,
Yeah, what's the record right now? 15-6, 15-7?
I would love it to show up on
It's
my
something good.
Hold on, stand by.
There's a lot of drama here.
There's a lot of drama here. So Atlanta at home this year is 15-7.
Yeah, I mean 700 winning percentage.
They're now 500. They're 24-24. That means that since the 0-7 start for them, they're 24-17.
So they've been a lot better than the Padres since they've seen the Padres.
Correct.
A lot better. All right, Padres and Braves coming up. We will continue to react to that on the other side as the Padres try to snap this losing streak in Atlanta coming up this weekend. Be listening for that goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st. Plus, we've got a giveaway for the San Diego County Fair coming up. All of that ahead on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres have now lost 6 in a row. With their loss today to the Blue Jays, they got swept. They now move on to face the Atlanta Braves starting tomorrow night in Atlanta. Good news for the Padres, though. Ronald Acuna Jr. returns tomorrow night for the Braves. Oh, also, they'll face Chris Sale tomorrow night as well. And NBA action tonight, Western Conference Finals, game number 2, 5:30 tip-off time in OKC between the Thunder and the T-Wolves. Thunder lead that series 1-0. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, be listening for that goal call from the play-by-play voice of SDFC, Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear him say goal, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free SDFC tickets for May 31st. Also, in 15 minutes, we have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to the San Diego County Fair. Let me ask you this, because earlier, and I agree with you, scoffing at it, it was a dumb comment by me. Where I was like, hey, maybe you got to give a guy an off day that's struggling. You're like, no, they've lost 6 straight, and you're right.
Don't give anybody off days.
Would you tinker at all with your lineup? No, they scored 6 runs today. It was all Gavin Sheets. Would you do any tinkering?
Probably not. Because as I said the other day, it's like especially the bottom half of the lineup, 5 through 9, it's like rearranging chairs on the Titanic. Nothing's changing. That ship's going down. And
other than Sheets, maybe, as he continues to emerge.
Well, Sheets is not going to hit cleanup over Jackson Merrill.
No, I'm saying he's in your 5 through 9.
Yeah, I mean, but Sheets hit 5th today, so that's where you keep him.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, you just kind of just hope and pray that the bottom of your lineup, whatever order it is, like, didn't Elias Diaz hit 7th today?
I think he did.
Okay,
yep.
And probably, I'm guessing the thought process with that was, they need to figure out a way to turn over the lineup. And Elias Diaz hitting 9th ain't going to do it.
Done it. Yeah.
And also, if he does happen to get on, he is extremely slow. He's an awful base runner. So then you have Tatis trying to drive in a guy that me and you run faster than.
Yeah.
So putting Brandon Lockridge at the bottom of the lineup, you kind of just hoping that you can get, him on base, and it's a much better opportunity to score runs with Brandon Lockridge out there running the base paths for Fernando Tatis Jr. than Elias Diaz.
I kind of like that. Listen, if you're going to have, like you said, the bottom of your lineup's never going to be good, Brandon Lockridge, when playing, makes sense as a number 9 hitter. Like that makes complete and utter sense to me. We always go back to your point on whether you would tinker or not. And I tend to agree with you that I wouldn't tinker, because tinkering doesn't matter. Is tinkering going to change Tatis? Are you really going to move Tatis to the 2-hole, where he's played a lot in his career, just because he's not hitting right now in the leadoff spot? I don't think you do it. Are you really going to flip-flop Merrill Machado and say that makes Merrill Machado better?
No.
More capable?
I mean, Kevin had a good point yesterday. It's like, if you do that and it doesn't work.
Yeah, then where are you?
Then where do you go?
Right.
And if it does work, okay, but it's a 50-50 chance it doesn't. So, like, just ride it out, because they have proven and shown you that they can get it done. But yeah, it's just still, I think the question is going to be asked about Manny's power the later we get into the season. Right now, it's really not. Like, I haven't seen many quotes from Manny about his power. Have you? And lack of home runs?
No, I have not.
Like, I don't think anybody's gone there yet with Manny of like, hey, you have 3 home runs. Are you concerned that you aren't getting, you're not putting the barrel on the ball enough, and you're not hitting as many home runs as you're paid to do? And again, he would probably tell you it's baseball and just blah, 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 blah. Right. The cliche word vomit from Manny Machado.
Yeah.
But as we get deeper into the season, I know his numbers last year at this time were pretty similar as far as home runs go.
Right.
And he was awful with everything else. All of his other numbers were awful this time last year, like below average player.
Mm-hmm.
And he still put up a fantastic second half and an overall good year. But he did have more home runs this time last year than right now.
Would you take this if this is what he does all year? where he hits 300, has an 800 OPS, and doesn't hit for power?
No.
A lot of doubles.
No.
Doesn't drive in near. How many runs has he driven in this year?
20.
That's a low total for 48 games.
It's for a 3-hitter.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, because basically what I'm asking is, would you take like that's not really the player they have. That's not the $350 million man to hit 300 again on base, not drive in runs and not hit for power.
Look, I hate it, but if I can deal with, and by deal I mean just like I have to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can deal with one of Xander or Manny just being completely mid and average. Can't deal with both of them being that way. Can't have Xander and Manny both have 3 home runs on the year and both have 20 RBIs on the season. This far in so far.
Would you call okay, I'll give you, would you call Manny to this point mid and average?
No, but I would say that his
power
numbers and his RBI number, which is very important, that's what he's getting paid to do.
Yep.
Is very average and mid at best.
Yeah. I mean, the weird part is
3 home runs right now, dude.
But it's still weird because you brought it up the other day, and I'm not going to go through the specifics. This entire Baseball Savant page is red. And not just red, it's like red. It's dark red.
I know.
It's not like medium red. It's not pink. It's not blue.
How many?
Red.
Okay. I mean, how many?
Including slug, including exit velocity, including bat speed, including hard hit percentage.
It seems like, if I'm looking at it right now and you look at the spray chart, got 9 balls that are doubles or home runs hit to the warning track. 9. Everything else is, I mean, it's just.
Is it even 9? Yeah, 9.
Not even close.
Yeah, you're right.
Like a couple. He's got what? 5 doubles down the left field line.
Right.
He's got 1 double to right center.
Right.
He's got 1 homer to right field. He's got 2 to left. He's got no homers to center or right center.
But you bring up a good point. Of the 3 home runs he's hit, which has even gone furthest? Has he hit a ball 400 feet this year? Can I click on that?
Does it tell you?
Probably. I don't know. Yeah, it does actually.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Now I'm curious.
Well, probably that one in Pittsburgh. Actually, probably not.
That's 400 feet. 391. Now I'm going to find out. He hit 391, Jim.
Okay.
This one might be 400. It's left center. He hit 400 on the nose.
All right. So
okay. And then the other one he hit this year, this probably isn't 400 feet. The other one he hit this year went 389.
Hold on. You know what I've just noticed in all those clips?
Yeah.
Can you guess?
I know what you're going to say.
He has not hit a home run. Just kidding. He's hit 1 home run at Petco Park.
And 2 on the road.
He's hit 1 home run at Petco Park.
I know. I thought it was going to be 0 too. So he hit one off the Cubs and Imanaga. He hit one in Sacramento. And he hit an important one in Pittsburgh in a win.
A very important one.
When they trailed 1-0 in the 7th inning. It's his clutchest hit of the year, probably.
Oh, by far.
Was that moment. So, yeah, I'm with you, man, on that entire take. Like, he's hit 305 or whatever. And that's nice. That's a good batting average. And the Baseball Savant page looks nice. But at the end of the day, he is here and getting paid to hit for power. And he has not yet, especially in that 3-hole. He's got to hit for more power, driving more runs than he has to this point.
It's scary when if you showed me, and I love this game of like the silhouette of a player, you don't know who it is, and you put 2 players up there and you put both of their stat lines up there and you say, guess who's who, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't know if I'm looking at Luis Ariz or Manny Machado if you show me Manny Machado's stats with the blank silhouette up there. Because right now, Luis Ariz on the season, he's hot. He's been hot. I think he's on an 8-game hitting streak. 9-game hitting streak.
Mm-hmm.
Ariz has brought his batting average up to 304. He also has 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, and he has a 778 OPS. Manny's hitting right now 305 with 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, and an 815 OPS.
And the funny part is, their Baseball Savant pages look nothing alike. Yeah, nothing alike. Nope. They look completely dissimilar.
Yeah.
But you're right. Machado's been closer to the Ariz type hitter than the Machado type hitter that he's been for his career to this point.
This season.
Yeah, this season.
And I know it's going to happen. I can already see it. We are talking and doubting Manny right now, and he's going to end up having a hot month.
Yeah, he's probably listening.
I mean, yes, am I speaking it into existence? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's happened multiple times before over the last 4 or 5 seasons, especially, where there have been parts of the season where you are so frustrated because Manny Machado is doing absolutely nothing, and you call the guy out on it, and then he goes out there and puts together a great 2 months.
And I don't think we've called him out. I just think we're being honest. He's hit 3 home runs. Yeah. He hasn't hit a ball more than 400 feet on the nose this year. He's got a 389-foot homer and a 390-foot. You know what I mean? Like, he just hasn't been the power hitter that we've seen before. Hopefully it comes over the final 2/3 of the year. All right. I want our listeners to call right now if they want a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Great giveaway. Great fair from June 11th through July 6th. I'm sure a number of you have been there over the years. If you want a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, all you need to do is call right now. 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia today. But you need to call 877-767-4760, and you need to do it right now for a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. If you missed Mike Shildt earlier after the loss, you'll hear it in the 5 o'clock hour. We're here until 6. It's Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed Mike Shildt postgame, you'll hear him coming up at 5 p.m. We still have Jim's back page coming up. Actually, hold on. I don't want to bury the lead. Jim has made me aware of something that will impact the show in a significant manner. I'm not going to share the specifics, but Jim will not be here for the back page today. Now, I shouldn't be criticizing since I've missed final segments of the show more times than I've actually been here for the final segment of the show. I've missed a lot of 545 segments in my day.
Oh my gosh.
How many? 100?
missed one this
between
week.
like Aztec last week when I did that Aztec thing.
Yeah, like I gotta leave. I'm like, what?
But I usually give you like a 2 days heads up. Jim tells me like 3:15 is like I'm out at 5:45, and I'm like I don't have any questions. I mean, yes, I actually had a million questions, but
Right.
Jim will be. So we're gonna do a Brent's back page, which oftentimes is pretty cool.
It's better than mine.
You should tune in.
I will tune in.
Now, Brent, are you like preparing for your back page?
I'm done already.
Oh,
Jim doesn't even start until 5:45.
I don't start until 5:50.
You told me at 3:15 that Jim was bailing and I had to do it. I had it done by 3:45.
Wow. Which begs the question, should we have a Brent's back page within the show typically? But all right, we're going to be here until 6. We'll hear from Mike Shildt. Padres have lost 6 straight. We do have SDFC tickets we're still giving away. Be listening for that goal call from their play-by-play voice because we're going to qualify someone, this hour and next or just next hour, Brent?
Both. I'll squeeze them
All
both
right,
in.
so
We
this
have Brad
hour and
Paisley tickets too.
Brad Paisley tickets we're giving away in the
We
5
just
o'clock.
have every ticket
Everything must go.
giveaway possible.
Everything's got to go since it's the final day.
Final day of the show.
We got to do what we can to make everyone forget about the Padres.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to play for some San Diego County Fair tickets.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants. We have Greg and Jared. Greg, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
You go with John.
All right.
Greg and John.
Greg and John.
Jared, you get Jim, okay?
Sweet.
All right. Brent, what is the question of the day?
All right, guys, SGA won the NBA MVP yesterday. Did you know that there have been 9 players with at least 3 MVP awards? Today's question, name any of those 9 players with at least 3 NBA MVP awards.
Okay. Jared, you are up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Yeah, I'll go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem.
Okay.
Not my first guess, but all right.
What a good one.
Greg, you're up. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'm going to do the Joker.
Jokic. 3? Wow. I thought he had 2.
Jared, you're up. What's your next guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Greg, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Jared, back to you. What is your final guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Let's go with Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson on the list.
This list is good.
It is good.
Thank
3
you.
MVPs.
Mhm.
Greg, final guess. You do have a lifeline, which is John, if you want to use it. What do you got?
I'm thinking Tim Duncan. John, what do you think?
I like that guess. I had a little questions about where I was going to. Can I offer a lifeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would offer. I don't think this is correct. It's Jim's boy. It may be correct. You know, as opposed to Jim's boy, I would go with Kevin Durant as my guess, as opposed to Steph. So that's what I have out there. I don't know if either of those is 1-3.
You gave him 2?
Yeah, but he's got Tim Duncan.
You had 1. You're supposed to give him 1 player, not 2.
I say Steph or KD.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
I think I'm going to stay with Timmy D.
Tim Duncan.
Timmy D for the tie. No! Were my guys on there?
No, they were not. Kevin Durant's won 1. Steph Curry's won 2. You're an idiot.
But they've combined for 3.
There you go.
And Tim Duncan only has 2.
Well, what about Larry Legend?
He would have been correct.
What about Jerry West?
Nope.
What about Kobe Bryant?
Nope.
What about? I was gonna say
Give me the
Yeah.
era, give me the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Well, the ones are Kareem was number 1, which
Okay.
I already said. Jordan is 2. He's tied with somebody.
I want to guess. Give me the
who's
decade
still out there that
or
Jim could
You
get?
can guess the if you have the decade.
They're big names.
Well, I know that, Brent, but
What
like,
about Wilt?
Yes.
okay,
There.
Will.
you.
How many left?
That was kind of a pun when I said they're big names.
Oh.
What about Bill Russell?
There you go.
I'm
There's
like a
another
genius.
big guy. There you go.
And how many are we missing? 1?
1, which another big guy, which neither of you will ever get.
The Big O.
Oscar?
He's the first high school player ever taken.
Moses?
Yep. There you go.
Moses Malone?
Yep. He won 3 of them.
3. Wow.
2 with Houston, 1 with Philly.
How about that, Jim?
How about that, John?
That's a list.
That's a
That
list.
is a heck of a list.
That's a heck of a
Will
list.
Steph ever be on that list?
Will Steph ever be on that list? Let me answer that. Yes.
He's going to get a third?
No, he won't get a third.
KD only has one?
Yeah. Soft.
That amazes me.
That was in OKC, and that was it.
Didn't you tell me he was the most valuable player on a GSW team or two?
A GSW team?
Golden State.
In the finals, he won finals MVP.
No regular season. Was he the best player on their team?
No, the league was not going to award any Warriors player with a regular season MVP because of how stacked those teams were.
Where do the players we just met? Is Shea ever going to win more than one? That's a good question.
No.
How old is he?
He's a guard.
Kid. There's other guards with multiple.
No, because he's already put up seasons where he scored 30 points or more in a season. He scored 32. Now, his like advanced stats are, they're kind of off the charts, but
32.7 points per game is.
If you broke it down and, once again, do the silhouette side by side, you put Joker's numbers next to Shea's numbers this year.
Right.
You're kind of saying to yourself, how did that guy in the left not win MVP and the guy in the right win MVP?
Okay. That's interesting. Let me look at that. I might do that. I'm doing it right now. I mean, Shea had a year.
He did have a year. His true shooting percentage was insane.
Had a better year. 30 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 58% shooting. Shea, 32.7, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 51.9% shooting. You could easily give it to Jokic, but he's already won 100.
That's why he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because the voters are like, you know what? That guy's won a bunch of MVPs.
Give it to someone else.
Give it to somebody else, which I think is so stupid.
Yeah.
If the guy earned the MVP, give him the MVP and vote for him, regardless of how many he's had. You think people in the 90s were like, you know what? Jordan's already won 3 MVPs.
Give it to
just give it to Charles Barkley more. They did give it to Charles Barkley,
else
but
it's actually interesting. Who got him in the 90s? Did Allen Iverson get one at one point?
2000.
I have the list. Hold on. Okay. You want the 90s MVP?
Yeah, I'm just wondering who won him in the 90s.
Let's see. Magic, Michael,
Charles,
Hakeem, David Robinson, Michael, Karl Malone, Michael, Karl Malone, and Shaq.
All right. That's a good list.
Iverson did win in 2000.
Jared, congratulations. You have won a 4-pack of tickets. That's right. A 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. This is June 11th through July 6th. And this is going to be a year where it transforms into a pet lover's paradise. And this is going to be the biggest bash of the summer. And it's the best deal in town. Join us for thrilling rides, challenging games, mouth-watering food, incredible exhibits, top-notch entertainment during the Summer Pet-tacular. Get it? Pet-tacular 2025 San Diego County Fair. For tickets and info, go to sdfair.com. Did you have something, Brent? I
was going to say, I almost wonder if they chose Shea over Joker. I do agree with Jim's thing. They don't pick anybody to go back to back anymore. Like Steph and Giannis were like the last two that did it. In the NBA, they actually value like your team performance, unlike, baseball, where it's like, oh, hey, Mike Trout, you're MVP, even though your team sucks and you're not going to go to the playoffs, but we don't care about that. You think they just were like, well, you guys had like the best record in the league, and that factored in why we picked you over Joker. That and the fact that Joker won previous.
And they did win the West by 16 games.
It played a huge reason why.
Yeah. Again, you're right. If they had the same records, the Nuggets and the Thunder, there's no way Shea wins it. If they had the same records.
Yeah. No.
And they were so good this year in the regular season.
Like when Steph won his MVP, his first MVP, he didn't have gaudy numbers, but
team was good.
Team was the best team in the league.
And unlike Major League Baseball, where Trout can win one with a 70-win team, or Ohtani can win one with a 70-win team, does that happen in the NBA? Is there any 31 and 51 MVP winner in the NBA, even if you score 35 points a game? I don't think so, right? Those players we listed were all on good teams, because that's how the NBA works. Good players are on good teams.
Yeah, the year that Charles Barkley won his MVP,
was it the Suns in the finals?
That was the 93 year, and the Suns in the finals.
Yeah. Like, who is the last player on even like a good but not great team in the regular season to win MVP? Would be an interesting question.
I don't think you can find one, because I'm thinking through it here.
Yeah.
The last however many MVPs have, by the way, been all international players. So you got SGA,
Canadian,
Jokic for his 3. The Nuggets were all good. He won the title one year. Giannis, Steph.
Were Sixers good in 22-23 with Embiid? They must have been.
They did make the postseason, and they were a good team.
Yeah.
And then, LeBron, Dirk.
The year Russell Westbrook won in the 2016
There you go.
season, they were only 11 games over 500. They're 46 and 35.
That's interesting.
They look. He did average a triple double that year, and it hadn't been it hadn't been done in like since Oscar.
Right.
I get that. That MVP that year was the same year that KD went to the Warriors. There, I think was a little of, we kind of feel bad for us, and he's averaging a triple double, so it's easy for us to vote for a triple double for the MVP.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
But yeah, you're right, Brent. That's the last player that's won an MVP on a just kind of so-so team.
Yeah, it's interesting.
For losing records, real quick, the last, you have to go way back. Kareem in the 75-76 season, the Lakers went 40 and 42.
That's crazy.
And the worst was Bob Pettit in the 55 season. They went 33 and 39.
Oh, Bob Pettit.
I remember that team.
I remember him.
Yeah, that team really struggled. I was saying the same thing about that team that I'm saying about the Padres right now. And the Padres have lost 6 straight. And if you missed Mike Shildt postgame, you'll hear from him on the other side. Swept in Toronto, on their way for Atlanta, where they're going to face Chris Sale and see Ronald Acuna coming off the IL as well. It's going to be hour 4 of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Goal! Anders Dreyer was dancing. He's a goal machine.
This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Padres, they are now on a 6-game losing streak as they got swept today by the Toronto Blue Jays, losing 7-6 in 11. Now they will travel to Atlanta to start a series with the Braves tomorrow night. Ronald Acuna Jr. is expected to return for the Braves. That's good news for the Padres. And oh, by the way, Chris Sale will be on the mound for the Braves as well. And then game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. We are about 30 minutes away from tip-off in Oklahoma City. Thunder and T-Wolves. Thunder lead that series 1-0. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim. You have one more opportunity, by the way, to qualify and win STFC tickets for next Saturday against Austin FC at Snapdragon Stadium. You're going to hear a goal call from their play-by-play voice. A goal sounds better than that. And then you're going to call 877-767-4760. If you qualify, you're going to find out at 5:30 if you're the grand prize winner. The grand prize winner has 2 free tickets to the game. So you want to qualify, and then one of the qualifiers wins 2 free tickets to the game. We'll announce that winner coming up at 5:30. Now, game 2 of the Western Conference Finals will get underway in about 30 minutes or so between OKC and Minnesota. Earlier today, the Padres dropped a 6th consecutive game, despite their best effort.
That's it? Just 6 in a row?
6. It feels like 16. And we'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up if you missed it. But this was a game that wasn't similar, Jim, to the other 5 because they did show signs of life offensively. Overcame a 9th inning deficit to tie, led in the 10th and 11th innings. Think about that. Tied a game in the 9th, took a lead in the 10th and the 11th, and still lost the game today 7-6 in Toronto. So 6 straight losses today, better than the previous 5, but the end result, Jim, is the end result, which is 6 straight days of the loss.
Well, you're glad that at least one player stepped up in a big way today, and that was Gavin Sheets. Without Gavin Sheets today, this team gets shut out again. So he stepped up in a big way, which is awesome. Jackson Merrill had a very good game as well. Luis Arraez, a good game as well. So those are positives. You know, I think Stephen Kolek, you're right. Stephen Kolek, he was fine, but it also furthers the urgency, so to say, of them needing Yu Darvish this year. Like, it shows that spot in the rotation, which is supposed to be Yu Darvish's spot, could be a little tricky here. If you only had to do that 1 day a week, that's great. It's fine. But you have to do it 2 days a week with Vasquez and Kolek, or a combination of Kyle Hart or whoever. But I think, Kolek has shown this year that he's done some good things. He's done some good things. He's got some good stuff. Like today, there's some pitches. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Right.
But all in all, just again, Manny Machado did absolutely nothing for you. Fernando Tatis Jr. did absolutely nothing for you. You were sloppy on the field because Gavin Sheets is not a first baseman. He made a crucial error that cost you 2 runs. The bullpen couldn't shut it down there in extra innings. And it all added up to another loss. If you just were to isolate every single game in the 6-game losing streak, this is not the worst game by far, but it still hurts all the same because it counts as in the L column.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, is there really a good way to lose? Like, I was told yesterday, well, at least it was over. You knew you weren't winning. Okay. Is that a good way to lose? Or today they fought and lost in heartbreaking fashion. Okay. Well, is that a good way to lose. Mike Shildt did talk to the media, aka Kevin Acee, about it post game. He started by talking about the Padres 6-game skid.
Obviously didn't go great either way. The battle's a key word today. Fought our tails off. Got a little back to playing our kind of game. A lot of, able to get some big hits. Louis Sheets late. Sheets big day, obviously. Big homer, big couple homers, 5 RBIs. Good at bats against a couple tough lefties from those guys. Cola gave us a chance. Yuki, Sean, Jason kept him right there. Extra innings, obviously, the guy starts at second. We were able to, get it done twice and just couldn't get it shut down.
What are you seeing out of Kolek? Like when he's in the zone, it's great. Today he left a few in the middle probably, but like you said, he gave you a chance. Battled the 6 innings.
Battled through 6. Not an extra base hit, a couple self-inflicted walks. But, like you said, a couple balls over the plate, but he was around the plate all day, throwing strikes and, for the most part. And like I said, at 4, gave us a chance. Bullpen men gave us a chance and, just couldn't quite bring it home.
I don't want to point it like a loss is a loss.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's a 6 straight.
It is.
And you haven't done that before.
That's right.
I guess it'd be different if you hadn't battled today. You're probably going to say that this is how you get out of it, is playing like this, having at bats like this. But like, how does this team, which was so good for 5 or 6, 7 weeks, get back to that?
Yeah, uncharted territory. I mean, nobody really here's experienced that. And, I do believe I thought about the last couple, days. And then, of course, today I felt good about us winning the game. But, as you reflect back on where we're at, first of all, to your point, listen, today is exactly how you get out of it. That's just how this works. You play our game. And today, we played some good defense. Toddy, a good play, multiple good defensive plays, one cost us, but tough at bats. Guys had, aggressive throwing strikes in the zone. They got hits. We didn't really, not a lot was self-inflicted. But that's how that happens. And what I was getting back to is, I really am confident that this is going to only make us stronger. There is no question about that. It will make us stronger. It doesn't feel great right now. Very soon it'll be a distant memory as we continue to get back to playing on the good side of the left-hand side of the win column. And, listen, it's just going to make us stronger and it'll make us closer.
All right. Mike Shildt post game. He talks about this team every single day. I don't really know what we're asking of Mike Shildt in terms of what to say. So I wasn't expecting anything earth shattering from Shildt. And he's not going to this isn't the day to go off on the media. He's not flipping tables. This is where they are. They've lost 6 consecutive games. I don't even know what I want to hear from Mike Shildt right now. It's less about Shildt for me and more about the team. Like Shildt can say whatever he wants about this team. We know what he's going to say. He's not going to turn on the team. But it's less about Shildt for me because I know what Schildt's going to say. And it's more about this team and this team finding its footing. And we've been talking about it throughout the course of the day. It doesn't get easy here. Atlanta, with the return of Acuna and the pitching that the Padres are about to see against a Braves team that's 15-7 at home this year. I just hope that they're up for the challenge of trying to overcome a 6-game losing streak, taking on one of the better teams right now in the National League.
Well, I know it's not going to be easy this weekend, but maybe this is kind of what they need.
Yeah, maybe.
I said on the wrap-up show the other night, I thought getting just blown out the other day, 14-0, was the moment of, all right, we just got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Enough's enough. We're done. This is not going to happen. And I thought that was going to be the case today. Gavin Sheets hits that 2-run home run. You have a guy in the mound that has given up the most home runs in all of baseball. He stinks. And then you do nothing until the 9th.
Right.
Now, it's great that Gavin Sheets did that, gave him a chance to win that game. And frankly, they should have won that game. They should have stole that game today.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah.
But at what point is enough? And maybe it's going up against Chris Sale where you just say, F it, who cares? and you just go out there and you play loose and free and I don't know, hopefully you put up 5 or 6 runs tomorrow against a really good pitcher. But
they've seemingly had a level of success against Atlanta. We saw them in the postseason.
So maybe they can
this year.
Maybe they can draw off of that.
Yeah, I mean that's at least a possibility. I go back to Chris Sale in that first series that the Padres swept here at Petco Park, and Chris Sale to open the season went 5 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs.
The thing with Chris Sale is historically you got to get to him early.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get to him early and he settles in, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
With the way the guys at the top of the lineup are swinging the bat right now, not named Luis Ariz, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that early on because those guys are in some slumps.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is you bring up a good point on Ariz. I mean, it's going to be hard to stay in a prolonged team-wide offensive slump when you have someone like Ariz that is just seemingly always on base. I mean, he drove in a run there late. They had an 0 for 39. Jim mentioned
he can't drive himself in when he gets on base. He's got to have those other guys behind him.
True, but at least he drove in a guy with a man in scoring position because that had to end, and it actually did here today. They had an 0 for 39.
I know.
Snapped in extra innings with men in scoring position. I mean, it really is incredible. Because I mentioned yesterday, 0 for 27 is being no hit. So 0 for 39 is 4 more innings of outs. So they were 13 innings of outs without a hit with men in scoring position until Luis Ariz came through today, and they still lost the game. So 13 innings of outs.
0 for 39, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this year so far, they have now a 6-game losing streak under their belt.
Yeah.
They have a 30 inning scoreless drought under their belt. They have a 27 inning scoreless drought under their belt, and they have an 0 for 39 collective with runners in scoring position.
So is that encouraging for like the long haul or for surpassing or equaling 2024 as a team?
It's not something you want to have happen to you.
You're not hanging banners for that.
You're not saying, you know what, we're going to be better off because we've had all these things happen to us.
Right.
Even though Mike Shildt said that today, I would much rather have them not have any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to do some deep dive here, but how many teams in a season have had all 4 of those things in 1 year or even close to that?
Answer's probably 0. Because how many teams have had 0 for 39 risks? But like 10. Then how many teams have had 30 inning scoreless streaks? Not a ton.
A bunch of teams have lost 6 in a row.
Oh, of course. Every team's lost 6 in a row. Not every, but a lot. But yeah, you're right.
Multiple times this year where they've had a 27 plus, scoreless inning streak as a team.
Yeah, I know.
Season.
It's only May. I mean, so they've only played 48 games.
Like I kind of want to see what the Rockies have done this year. Like, what's the Rockies' longest
scoreless inning streak?
Yeah,
or 0 for with a risp. It's probably pretty bad since they're 8-42.
8-42. Now they got shut out today, 2-0 by the Phillies. But if I'm just doing a quick glance here, John,
are they going to turn it around? Probably not.
Well, I actually their series here in San Diego,
when they were shut out the entire series.
Yeah, so that's 9 times 3.
Yeah, they probably
27 there.
Yeah,
and then the Dodgers series, they didn't score until the 6th inning that next day. So
right,
27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. They've had a 32 inning scoreless drought this year,
if not more. Yeah,
and the Padres have a 30. So,
all right. On the other side, let's preview tonight Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City and Minnesota get back into last night at the Garden. Plus, you want to listen for that goal sounder. You're going to hear it coming up between now and 5:30. And when you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st. We'll announce the winner from our qualifiers coming up at 5:30. Stay with us. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Goal! dancing, dancing, dancing. He's a goal machine.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. A reminder, San Diego FC back on the pitch. Saturday, they're taking on the LA Galaxy at Snapdragon. You can hear the match live Saturday, 1:15 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. We'll get into Wolves Thunder game 2 momentarily. You just mentioned this to me at the break. Were you a around the horn guy? Its final show will be tomorrow.
I never really was.
I don't get the scoring system.
Well, that's the thing.
It's been on for 100 years.
Here's the thing. So Tony Reale, who is the host, he got brought up as stats boy with PTI.
PTI, I remember.
And he, I think, was doing an interview with Dan Patrick, as you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760 every weekday, 6 to 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that tomorrow there's a good chance that he finally might reveal the scoring system.
It's just like he randomly just hits the button a lot. It's like a bump, 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 bump.
It's random.
It's like 6 points, then bump down 2.
Right.
That's the thing that always irked me about the show. I'm like, I don't get it.
Also, I think Around the Horn was kind of like a staple show on ESPN along with PTI. Like they had a really good in the afternoons. It was like Around the Horn, PTI, and then right into Sports Center.
Mm-hmm.
I was like that. Like I just liked all that. Right now, they don't care about Sports Center anymore. Did you know that they're not doing Sports Center in LA anymore? Like they stopped
they
doing
got rid
that?
of it. They like closed the studio, right?
Yeah, they had their final Sports Center in LA last 2 nights ago.
A couple days ago, yeah.
Because they're moving all their stuff to Bristol because they
Save money.
They put all their money into talking heads and guys that have hot takes.
Yep.
But then it fell off a cliff when they moved it to like ESPN2 and they put it at random times. And also they put on the most random people on PTI that you could think of to the point where I'm like, who is that person?
Yeah, the problem is as media evolved to that, like you said, we don't like the format, but when it got so talking head hot take heavy, that when you had opinions that weren't hot takes, that fell by the wayside.
Right.
Because the talking heads are so boisterous that when you have actual like opinions that aren't screaming and yelling and kicking, it's like, wait, what's this? I thought you're just supposed to like yell and scream.
Like perfect example. So we all know Stephen A. Smith is a Knicks fan.
Mm-hmm.
This morning on First Take or whatever the show's called, First Take, and then pregame here for Game 2 Western Conference Finals. All he's doing is just yelling, and it's not just like a little. He's like screaming his head off because the Knicks lost last night,
right?
And he is completely embellishing. I get it. Like he's putting on a show. He is acting. This is not the real Stephen A. Smith. This is Stephen A. Smith knowing he is, when the camera goes on, the light goes on, he is putting on a show. And for whatever reason, that is what people gravitate towards now instead of, like you said, around the horn.
A thought out take.
Yeah.
I just think also because as we've moved into the social era, when Around the Horn and PTI started, we weren't on social media.
Right. It was like in the early 2005-ish, 2006.
Yeah. So we weren't on social media, anything like this. And now, like you just said, Stephen A., when he's loud like that, that gets clipped out and that gets sent around and that's on social. When's the last time you saw a clip of one of the participants on PTI on social media compared to like a Stephen A. Smith type individual? Never, right?
The only time I see clips of things from Around the Horn are things like, oh, Around the Horn's too political, and they went to a political route, and this person used their 2 minutes of time to talk about some political things,
right, to raise awareness
for something that's really important, but people are upset about it for some reason because everyone's said about everything.
I think I think it has less to do with that and more to do with where media has gone since Around the Horn started, to your point. Right. And I do agree with you. The lineup of having PTI, Around the Horn, Sports Center, that type of show as a like key cog in the middle of your afternoons, that just has kind of ceased to exist.
Like, I'm trying to think, what was before Around the Horn? Because I feel like there was another show, like Around the Horn, PTI was like an hour, and then right into 3 o'clock Sports Center.
But didn't they I used to love, there were some like trivia games back in the day, Stump the Schwab.
Yeah, that was probably
maybe before that.
That was like a nighttime.
I like that show.
I think the one show that has actually cut through all the BS is PTI.
The show's been amazing. It's been on the air for like 30 years.
And you know why it's amazing still? Because they have the same hosts. But
they didn't mean to ruin the world like they did.
No, I know.
Because they led to this.
I know it did. And it did lead to the just obnoxious talking heads, always someone with a hot take. Yep. Guys like Emmanuel Acho thinking he knows more than everybody when he really doesn't. He's trying to sound like the smartest man in the room. It's like, shut up, dude. But what I was saying about Around the Horn is like when it kind of fell off is, Woody Page is like a regular on there. I'm sure he'll be on the final show tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Bob Ryan, regular on there. They had regulars on that show all the time.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like,
who are these people?
Random writers. I have no idea who this person is. It's not their fault. I'm just saying the thing with those types of shows is like you have to have consistency. And once you lose the consistency of those shows, people are going to tune out. That's why PTI is so beloved, because they might have different hosts some days, right? At times, but it all goes back to Wilbon and Kornheiser.
What do you got, Brent?
As I said, for me, it was all about when, like Jim said, they didn't bring in the new talent on the show, but they also, I thought they needed to kind of filter out some of the old ones. I used to love Woody Page, but now it's like you turn on, it's like, wow, Woody's still on the show and he's still doing the sign thing. And, and it's just like some of those, it's, we always talk about the NBA about how, LeBron and them aren't going to be here forever. They got to kind of cycle in new people, or they didn't really cycle anybody that stood out. They're okay, but nobody stood out like any of like the Plaskies or the OG, cast of the show, I guess you call them.
I mean, I haven't watched it in 15 years. I watched it probably for 4 years, like in the 2000s, and I haven't watched it for 15 years. Truthfully, I'm surprised it made it this long. To be honest, it's been a pretty long run.
Well, it's literally being shown on ESPN News,
which also shows like throw the ball over the roof on a house.
Yeah, and so when they are paying Pat McAfee the ungodly amount of money they're paying him, and they're paying Stephen A. Smith hundreds of millions of dollars, there's something that gets going to be cut.
Yeah.
And it was SportsCenter in LA because Scott Van Pelt's now the new SportsCenter lead. And then it's all these other shows like around the horn.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's on ESPN News because they play it 3 hours straight, because it's on ESPN, then it's on ESPN2 the next hour, then it's on ESPN News because it's like 3 hours in a row.
And it will go bye-bye tomorrow. What was your favorite around the horn memory? All right, on the other side, we're getting you ready for the Western Conference Finals Game 2, Oklahoma City and Minnesota. Plus, we'll announce the winner of those 2 free tickets to see SDFC Austin FC on May 31st. We also have Brad Paisley tickets to give away. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres have now lost 6 in a row after they lost to the Blue Jays today. They got swept by the Blue Jays. Next up, they'll face the Atlanta Braves tomorrow night for starting a 3-game series in Atlanta. Good news for the Padres, though. They face Chris Sale. Also good news, Ronald Acuna Jr. will be returning to the Braves lineup. And we are moments away from tip-off in Oklahoma City. Thunder and T-Wolves. Thunder lead the series 1-0. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
All right, we're going to announce the grand prize winner of 2 free tickets to see SDFC. Plus, how happy is Darnay right now? He gets to see Ronald Acuna Jr. and Chris Sale. Oh my gosh! Wow!
I can't.
Wow!
Can they trade for Paul Skeens so we can see Paul Skeens against the Padres this weekend?
Be awesome. Darnay, like, are you going? Acuna's going to be there. All the stars of baseball against the Padres. What a dream!
Love watching the Padres play against the best.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what's my favorite? When they beat like the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they beat up a guy with a 5 ERA.
They just win.
That'd be cool.
I don't care who they beat.
Oh, wait, they didn't.
Right.
The guy kind of shoved for his standards today.
Darnay, are you listening? You got to be you're not listening. You're probably driving to Atlanta right now or booking travel to Atlanta.
Probably the airport.
Go see He's at the airport right now. All right. Can we get a drum roll for our grand prize winner? 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st.
Congratulations to Austin for winning tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC. First 25,000 fans get a cool beach towel, so make sure you show up and you are one of the first 25,000 fans, Austin.
Yeah, that is cool that Austin is going to go see SDFC against Austin FC. By the way, California Bank and Trust giving away those tickets. It is the summer kickoff match, and it does feature, as Jim said, the beach towel giveaway. All right, Padres have lost 6 straight. Let's turn our attention here momentarily to the Western Conference Finals. Game 1 was close for a half. Then Oklahoma City did what they've done a ton this postseason. 5 of their 9 wins, I think by 29 or more points. They're getting ready for Game 2. They're huge favorites again, Jim, by Western Conference Final standards. They're 9-point favorites tonight against Minnesota. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is with the commissioner, Adam Silver, right now at midcourt, and he's being presented with his MVP trophy.
Kind of does look like the MVP trophy is flopping, right?
A little bit. That's a good line.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like it doesn't look like the old NBA MVP trophy, but
it looks smaller, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's a redesign.
Okay.
It's a redesign.
Okay.
So yeah,
I like it.
It has a little bit of a flopping kind of shape
Look to
it. Yeah, it's perfect for SGA.
So I've always found this interesting. You're doing the MVP. It's one thing to announce the winner during the season. You're awarding it during the season.
But they always announce it around this time, regardless of if the team is in the postseason
or not. Right. So he's getting presented with it. It's just one of those things. If I'm Minnesota, it's like when you hang a banner with another team in the building. If I'm Minnesota, I got everything in the world to play for. I'm trying to get to an NBA Finals too. Be interesting to see how the T-Wolves play tonight. Again, they played well for a half. Oklahoma City utterly dominated in the second half. And I'm just curious to see tonight. I think Oklahoma City is going to win this series in 5 games or less. And if that's the case, then Oklahoma City is going to win tonight as well. But yeah, he seems happy to get the MVP. He should be.
Man, you know what? The crowd in OKC, it's so funny because they're all wearing
same T-shirt.
They are one of the few crowds in the NBA when the T-shirts are handed out, every single buddy in the crowd wears it.
They love it.
Now, I also love I don't love it, but it's just an interesting thing to see when they pan the crowd. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, yeah.
It's a very Oklahoma City crowd, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, we said the other day, I mean, you couldn't have more contrast than potentially Oklahoma City and New York.
Oh, not even. Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, but it's because, it's a big country. There's different parts.
I know.
There's a lot of cities in this country. And the thing I appreciate about the NBA or the NFL is Oklahoma City can exist. What I mean by that is Major League Baseball. Oh, woe is me. I'm Pittsburgh.
Small market.
But Oklahoma City, right? Indiana, right? There's countless examples. In fact, the Knicks haven't won a title since 1973. They're in New York.
Because you know what will happen is Shea will get the Supermax, which will pay him roughly $78 million a season.
Right, which is, I think you said yesterday was 75, right?
What?
$75 million.
I think it's 78.
Oh, 78.
78.
Okay, I'm sorry.
78 a year.
Okay.
It's like a 5-year, $360 million contract because he now is in the super max category because he won the NBA MVP. Also, he's made multiple first all NBA teams.
Has to at this point.
And so like the escalator kicks in and guess what? The Thunder, the small market Thunder team is going to pay him that
for $400 million.
Almost $400 million.
Can you live in Oklahoma City on just $78 million a year? Did you have to get it?
I've never been
sized down.
I've never been to Oklahoma City, nor will I ever be to Oklahoma City in my life.
I have
like on purpose. But it doesn't sound like a place that's like a very, very like city atmosphere vibe.
No, here's the one thing I would say. So I've been there one time with a buddy of mine. We both went to a Thunder game because my buddy worked for the Thunder. And they beat the Knicks at the buzzer. Kevin Durant. I could find the game. Literally at the buzzer. Kevin Durant won a game against the Knicks at the buzzer. This is probably about 10 years ago. And their crowd was terrific. Oklahoma City absolutely loves the Thunder. It's a classic example also of a one pro team town. Portland, right, with the NBA. Mm-hmm. San Diego now with Major League Baseball, by and large. And then Oklahoma City with the NBA. I know we have Major League Soccer. I know there's other sports. We have the rights to the Aztecs. We have college sports. So does Oklahoma. They have diehard college sports, right? Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. But Oklahoma City is the classic example of you're all in on the one team.
Yeah.
Where in LA, in New York, it was like 9 teams, right? But it's the classic example of like everyone loves the Thunder.
Like New York is
Padres.
Very diverse with a lot of different things.
Jets fans hate like Giants fans.
Yeah.
You know?
There's not much diversity in Oklahoma City when it comes to sports teams. And so, yeah, I get it.
So, yeah, I appreciate a sport that, again, it's possible to win. And I do think it's the case in baseball. I think some of that narrative is fake. We talk about it with the ownership groups. Owners can spend more. Look at the Padres, perfect example. But it does feel like the door is closed on Major League Baseball for some of these teams. The door is not closed in the NFL for some of these teams. They're just inept. Cleveland could win if they weren't inept in the NFL. Jacksonville could win.
Yeah, they're just not run well.
Yeah, I mean, Green Bay has won, and they play in a city of like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma City can win an NBA Finals in Little Old, to your point, you're right, in kind of a mid-sized town in middle America. That, again, that situation wouldn't exist in Major League Baseball.
Doesn't the Thunder feel like a college team?
A little bit, yeah.
College vibe.
Yep. Yeah.
You know.
Again, they got passionate fans. And game 2 is coming up tonight. Oklahoma City and Minnesota after the Thunder won game 1. Last night was just terrific, obviously, in the Eastern Conference. Ratings through the roof. We didn't talk about that. Highest since 2018.
Shocker. So let me get this straight. Not two, but one big market, 2 teams that are, have history with each other. Over the course of the last 30 years have been rivals with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Last time they met in the postseason, or the Eastern Conference Finals, was back in '99.
Yep.
You don't have like the superstar players, but New York market, you have an infinitely better broadcast on NBA on TNT, infinitely better, not play-by-play, man, because I think Mike Breen's amazing, but just the overall.
They do a nice job.
The overall, production value of last night's game 1 felt like a big game. It felt like the Eastern Conference Finals. This on ESPN, it's bad, dude. I'm sorry, it's bad.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. By the way, last night, 6.6 million viewers on TNT. I mean, that's a big number for TNT. It's up over last year's games on ESPN. Again, that was Pacers Celtics a year ago. But 6.6 million viewers, again, the highest since 2018 for the opening game of the Eastern Conference Finals.
There's only a few players in the league that can draw ratings. There's a few teams that can draw ratings.
Yep.
Off the top of my head, it's LeBron, it's Steph. Those are the 2 right there. Yep. New York, if they're in the postseason in the Eastern Conference Finals, or hell, the NBA Finals, that's going to be massive ratings there. Who else? I think trying to think. Give me another name.
You said Lakers. You said Celtics. You said
Celtics.
Celtics as a team are just going to draw.
Yeah. Jason Tatum, not so much over the Celtics as a brand.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Knicks.
Yeah. And that's also the NBA's kind of problem here. Is like, who's bigger than Steph and LeBron as far as ratings, like drawers go? Nobody. We all talk about Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis to me is a much better watch than SGA, but he also is in this game and they drew the worst rating since 2013. So what does that say about Anthony Davis?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Or is it because the Thunder are not a good watch? Or
is it because, again, for the first time in 20 years, you don't have a big Western brand in it where you're so used to seeing Warriors and Lakers, even the Spurs. I know they're boring, but last 25 years, you've had a lot of the same teams in the Western Conference Finals.
Does it also, it's going to sound kind of weird. Does it also hurt because, like, when you watch this game, you're not like going down the nostalgia route? The Thunder jerseys are awful. The Timberwolves jerseys are awful.
Right. They don't have history.
There's no history there. Last night felt iconic with the Knicks. It brought me right back to the 90s. And I'm sure it brought back a lot of people to the 90s, Pacers, Knicks, the jerseys, the colorway, the jersey matchup. Like, I think those things matter from a viewing standpoint. Now, the players have to come through and the players have to perform. Like last night, without the Halliburton stuff and the comeback.
Yeah,
it's not as an epic game as it was. But still, just as the game's about to tip off, you see the Pacers' iconic jersey against the Knicks' iconic jersey at Madison Square Garden. This here in Oklahoma City, it's like, okay.
Thank the Lord Indiana didn't win last night wearing those Indy.
Oh, thank goodness.
Alternate jerseys, which I think they cannot wear for the Western the conference finals or further.
Keep it simple, stupid. The NBA City Connect jerseys or whatever they're called.
Yeah, not for the conference finals, not for the NBA finals. Yeah. All right, Jim's back page would normally be next, but Jim is leaving, so Brent's back page is next. All right, final time, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, back again tomorrow at 2 p.m. By the way, Kevin AC will join us tomorrow from Atlanta, Georgia, where the Padres will open that 3-game series with the Braves and try to snap what is now turned into a 6-game losing streak. So join us tomorrow, 2 to 6, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Jon and Jim, and again, Kevin AC will join the show. Western Conference Finals Game 2 underway. One of the officials got, hurt. So they've stopped the game just 2 minutes in, tied at 2. So that game is just underway here tonight, Western Conference Finals between the Thunder and the T-Wolves. So Jim has bailed. Now, he hasn't told us necessarily as to why, but I bailed so many times during the segment that I'm not going to call him out. He's just
I'm sure it's a soft reason.
It's definitely soft.
None of you guys ever have good reasons.
Correct.
I don't either. I went to the movies the day I didn't show up.
Correct. He's probably going to the movies. He's probably going to see like Pokemon 3 or something. So anyway, normally it's Jim's back page. Let's get to it now.
All right, we're going to start with a non-food related story today. You remember how the new Pope is from Chicago, Jon?
Yeah.
And he had his own Topps card and everything else a couple weeks ago. Well, the house that the new Pope grew up in the Chicagoland area, his family, I guess, they're trying to sell it, but the city might step in because they might declare it like a landmark or whatever.
Historical monument.
So there is potentially going to be a fight between the city, and they say that it's the family, but I don't know, that's owned the house that the Pope grew up in. So they initially put the house up for sale for around $150,000. And then once he was named Pope, they jacked the price up, and now the city's like, well, we're gonna step in, and we might actually just buy it, because I guess there's some there's some rule or something like that says that the city can step in and like declare it a
like eminent domain or something.
Yes,
that makes
exactly.
Sense. All right, interesting.
So keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll put a bid in. We'll go.
Yeah, we really
Pope's
should.
House.
What else you have?
The Indianapolis 500 is coming up, and they have a great event that's going to be kick off the weekend this Friday, which happens to be annual carb day, which I didn't know that, which is like every day for me now. But we're going to have a Wienermobile race, Jon.
In the Indy 500?
This will be Friday. This will be Friday at, let's see, it's 2 Eastern. So about 11 o'clock or so our time on Friday. But they're going to have the first ever Weenie 500 race, which, like I said, will help kick off Carb Day festivals. It's going to be the first time in a decade that all 6 vehicles in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile fleet will be at the same location, and it's also it's going to be the first time that they've ever raced each other.
Wow, I didn't realize that. By the way, how about the epic day in Indianapolis on Sunday? Game 3, Knicks Pacers, and the Indy 500, which is like a rite of passage in Indianapolis. Obviously, the Indy 500, you have both Knicks Pacers Game 3 and the Indy 500 on Sunday in Indianapolis. That's crazy.
And they didn't say if the Wienermobile thing will be televised. I'm sure it's going to be
somewhere
all over.
It'll be
social
streaming
media, because come on, just the visual of 6 Wienermobiles racing down a racetrack is just, that sounds great.
Right.
Now, Jon, you ate chicken today. Great results.
I did, because the Padres were shut out yesterday. I said I would eat a piece of chicken, and I did, and it was terrific from Dave's Hot Chicken, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, we had Dave's Hot Chicken today. KFC is doing something they probably shouldn't, and it's a good thing it's only happening in the United Kingdom. Jon, would you try KFC gravy flavored ice cream?
I would not. No, I would not. I like gravy, but not as an ice cream. Would you?
I'd try it. I don't know if I'd be able to eat a whole bowl of it. I like
a scoop.
I like KFC's gravy, so I'd probably try. But like I said, I don't think it wouldn't sound I wouldn't want a cone of it. Or
Well, it's like a
that.
marketing play, or they're actually going to sell gravy ice cream like to the mainstream, like masses.
It doesn't look like it's mainstream. It's right now. It's only in UK at certain KFC stores. You can get a tub of it for around $7.31.
Oh, wow.
The ice cream sales are going to the KFC Youth Foundation. The company describes the product on the website as an unexpected savory delight inspired by KFC's legendary gravy with notes of peppercorn and hints of its signature fried chicken flavor.
Wow.
I think I'd rather just have fried chicken flavored ice cream opposed to gravy flavored ice cream.
Agreed. Yeah. After having that chicken today, I think I'd go, yeah, again, do I want chicken ice cream? No. Do I want gravy ice cream? No. But I like chicken, even though I hadn't eaten it in 12 years until I lost that bet.
It's just something that makes you think, there's somebody at the KFC offices that like got paid to think this.
Oh, 100%.
It's just like, we picked the wrong profession.
Absolutely.
And that's it for Brent's back page.
All right, good job with the back page. I would say it's better than Jim's because Jim is just kind of making it up on the fly, and you've had that prepared for the last couple hours. So good stuff today. Again, a lot of reaction, obviously, earlier, if you missed it, to the Padres who, have lost 6 straight, and the way in which they lost today was more encouraging than the way they lost the first 5 games. But at the end of the day, they lost the game. They scored in the 9th to tie it up on a Gavin Sheets home run. They scored in the 10th. They scored in the 11th, and they still lost the game in a walk-off fashion, 7-6.
Yeah, this is pretty much what I looked at. I was like, well, at least they scored today.
Yes, right. So some progress for a team that's been tough to figure out. I mean, they played as well as anyone to start at 14-3, and now they've come completely back to earth, losing 6 straight. Can they turn it back around this weekend in Atlanta? It will not be easy against a Braves team that's been so good at home. And again, we'll have you covered beginning tomorrow at 2 p.m. because Kevin Acee will be on the show tomorrow here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. And listen, crazier things have happened. Do you expect to get swept by the Mariners and the Blue Jays? No. And does it seem like an easy weekend going to Atlanta? No, but it's baseball. I mean, crazier things have happened. Again, the Padres have played the Braves well here in recent history. We'll see if that continues this weekend or not. So we got that. Busy sports weekend in general with the conference finals again underway. All right, if you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. If you're listening to us on a podcast, by the way, please leave a review as well. We appreciate that. That is helpful. We're back tomorrow at 2 p.m. We'll get you ready for Padres and Braves with Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining the show. Jim bailed a couple of minutes ago. So for Jim, who's bailed, and for Brent, I'm Jon. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760. Peace.